I think I shit while I was walking. I was on the. I went on a cruise. And
on the cruise.
I think I just shit and kept walking.
That's the way you do it.
And you know, because the next day in the room I was like, what smells in this fucking thing? Like a goddamn fucking snowball of caca. I open the door and you're like, what are those things? I go over there. So they're like a fucking caca trail back to my fucking quarters, wherever they call those things. Like fucking sweet. And I'm like, oh man, that's a lot of fucking pina coladas with a fireball floater. Hello everyone. Hola mis amigos. You're listening to Oh My God Hi, Hijo de Dios. Hola. With me, George Lopez, porque ¿sabes qué? Let's do the show, porque I got a lot of things to do. I gotta go to that dry cleaner ahí. My kid fell, se pegó la cabeza. I gotta go get some Neosporin Paul.
You know what George is?
Oh, I'm sure he's around here somewhere.
What's his name? George?
Lopez.
George Lopez.
Oh my God!
OMG.
OMG Hi!
Oh my God, hi! Michael Rosenbaum, I think, did you have the first podcast in the world?
You know,
You've been doing a podcast. I think you have to be one of the innovators of, because you've had it forever.
I wouldn't say innovator, but I you know, it's been like 5 years, something like that. Yeah, not that long. There's a lot of people. Oh yeah, I got to open it first, right? I haven't had
Makes
a
it
beer
easier
in a
to
while.
drink.
Cheers.
Pretty good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me. Hey, let me taste. This is it, whose beer is this?
Mine.
This is your own beer?
Well,
You know you've made it
have
when
my
you have
name
your
on
own
it.
beer.
I'm not. I think when the year starts, we won't be drinking this anymore.
I can give you an inside of you keychain. That's about all
Great,
I have.
great one too, guys. Great
That's
name.
my podcast. But yeah, look, I got to be honest. It started out as one of my friends saying, "Hey, you got a good voice, and you know a lot of other actors, and you can make a lot of money." So, whoa, that part, I can make some money. So I started doing the podcast, not just trying to be, and it's harder than it looks. In the beginning, there weren't that many listeners,
Right.
but once I started to open up and say "fuck it" and just be can I say F?
Yeah.
And just really vulnerable, like talking about depression, anxiety, dysfunctional family, growing up. And I started to know a lot of people started, gravitating towards the podcast because it helps with mental health, talking to not just celebrity bullshit, but like real shit.
Yeah.
So it's, some people on the show have cried, like Zach Levi,
Right.
Jennifer Love Hewitt, Stephen Amell had an anxiety attack on the podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's crazy. It's I never thought I would love what I'm doing now. And
do you do it at your house, or you have a studio?
Yeah, I got a studio at my house.
Yeah.
So it's cool. And a lot of people know where I live, though.
Bobby Lee started crying on the pod. The first one I did here.
Bobby Lee?
Yeah, Bobby Lee started crying. He started crying. Then he picked up his T-shirt. He's cleaned himself off.
That's why he's talking about his dad.
Yes, we were talking about my dad and all I wanted in life was to make him cry. And he sits there and he starts crying. He says, "Motherfucker, stop! You're making me cry." And he was cleaning his tears off.
Isn't that funny?
What are those things? What are those things that, no matter how old you get, like it stays on the surface, huh? Like things that can just.
I want to meet the comedian. Really, since I've met you and others that have come on, I want to meet the comedian that didn't have problems, because it seems like there's something deep inside most of you that have come out. I think that's
I think so.
That's true.
I think it all starts from. Well, I mean,
from your grandma.
no, I mean, Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee's not dating. I guess he was dating
Lila.
Yeah,
They broke up.
they broke up
On the air, I think.
But when but when I went and did his podcast, she talked about her making out with her uncles in backyard parties, and I thought, I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Full on fucking dancing, tongue kissing." I said, "How old are you? 13?" You're like, "What the?"
That's got to mess you up. That's got to
Fucking
mess you
uncles
up.
fucking dancing and tapping, cutting in. The motherfucker fucking what? You're like, what the? I mean, they
That's
talked about
crazy.
it with such, and I was like, wow, man, that's so, just so open. I don't, not like us. Like I don't know if I want to say that. She's like, I used to make out with my uncles at the parties.
Oh, so you did make out with
backyard
your
parties. She did. Yeah. No, you go. I don't want to vote. Yeah, no fucking.
Hey, I guess
But it's like-
me tugging grandma at the train station ain't that bad then, huh?
Oh.
I was already an adult.
Yeah. What the fuck? I mean, it's just. I mean, what? How would you define Aaron a podcast?
Open platform. You know, you talk about
Motherfucker, 3 words. I ask him for help. He gets open.
You know, you talk about like everything's. You can go to therapy and you can figure yourself out. People say, "Well, grow up." You know, you're not. You had a childhood, but you grow up and you become a man and you move on.
Right.
But it's easier said than done. There's still things, that inner child that comes out that you.
You know, I lied to my therapist. You're not supposed to lie to your therapist.
I know it happens.
And
I've done it before.
I mean, you're not supposed to, because if you're gonna get well, you got to go all in.
yeah,
and-
you're just spending money for no reason.
Yeah, you're lying to somebody. Can't help you if you're lying.
What about now? Do you do it now? Do you? When
No.
You, talk? You still don't tell them the truth. You still lie.
Well, we're past those issues.
Oh, good. Good.
But like, how much can a guy
I've
jack
never seen
off
you on the
before
hot
it
seat.
starts?
Are you a big jack off?
I mean, I was.
Really?
Yeah,
I never
I'm
was.
not.
Are you, Gil? No. You don't spank it? But what?
No,
You
I
don't-
did.
You don't snap the
but
carrot?
not now.
Snap
Not now.
the carrot.
73 years old, it's rejecting my hand.
I think when you're older, it's sadder. Then
is.
you're an old man jacking off. Someone else would rather be in the park.
Well, I end up falling asleep.
Yeah.
Or I have ADD, and most of the time I'm like jerking off, and then I'm like, my mom, and then I'm like, I fall asleep with a limp dick. There's nothing worse.
Those are fucking slippers under the door.
I'm always distracted.
Yeah.
There's never enough lube.
And you know what? I watch fucking porno from the 70s. I'm not even watching porno from fucking now. John Leslie, all the motherfuckers are all dead.
Because you like the hair?
I don't know what I like. They're like, you know, I know that street down fucking Van Owen. You know, like, oh, they filmed it all in the valley.
Yeah, what's that?
Hey, that's Canoga Park High. You're like, you know, you're not even watching porn anymore. You're going, oh, that fucking place ain't there anymore. That stereo place. Fucking shit.
Do you watch porn? No. I don't.
Did you
believe them.
know any porn stars?
Yeah, I did a short film with one. I'm trying to remember. My friend James Gunn, who's now the head of DC, did a short film. And it was called PG Porn, and they did a Peanuts episode. And Peanuts, 'cause since I was bald, I played Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think who was in it. She was a big porn star for a while.
Oh.
We didn't have to kiss her.
Not Jenna.
No. Oh, no, it wasn't her. I got to remember. Let me text you.
Because, you know, I think porno people are like what sculptors used to be in Rome. You know, it's like nobody's a sculptor. You know, you gotta be living to be a fucking sculptor. Like that, their whole life is fucking.
Belladonna. That's it.
What was her name?
Belladonna.
Oh, Belladonna.
All I can tell you, there was a scene with her with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. And I was like,
wow. An aluminum bat or
I couldn't put a Q-tip
wood.
up my ass. You know, she's got a freaking Louisville Slugger and fucking swing him for the fence.
Wow, yeah. I mean, do you have a bat in your ass? You just drive home. Maybe I'll stop and get
some lube for the bat.
Some fucking stir fry. I feel like maybe having stir fry tonight. You had a fucking bat in your oil and fucking turning it, you know, like blowing glass, and then fucking turn it so it ends up even. You're like, oh yeah, you know.
There's no way she's ever constipated.
No way. She's just falling out.
When she farts, there's got to be a.
Hey, your right's here.
Amigo.
Yeah, I mean, that's their fucking life is
Sex.
porn.
Do you think they love it, or do you have to love it, or you think it's just really a job? They're just going through the motions. What do you think?
I think it might be. I think you know,
it got
there's
to be a
some that.
combination. They got to like it in order to do it. You know, to get some kind of sensation out of it. How much does this shit pay? Did they pay good
can't-
for it?
no.
I don't know now.
I think you can watch it all on YouTube.
It's all free.
It's all free, man.
So how are they getting paid?
How are they getting paid? That's what I wonder.
I think because on those ads, it's like, get your dick bigger for this, you know, and people click that and they get a piece of, there's all these little things. That
It doesn't work.
Not that I've ever clicked that.
They're like, are you tired of watching porn? Fucking no. Fuck, you just waiting for this shit to skip ads. Come on. Get out of the way. You know, and I've known a lot of them. You know, when I had my talk show, we brought one on, and then she sent me like roses, but they're like cookies. They still do that shit, like edibles, but they're like a rose.
Oh, yeah,
Put them in front of
yeah.
dickheads.
Oh, you know about that stuff.
And
No,
I'm,
I've seen
and I'm
them.
like, is she sending me like what? what's going on? And she said she liked me. And I was like,
You know, the question is, could you, if somebody was paying you, said you're going to have sex, but also they choose, like today you're going to have sex with this person.
right.
Like you have to be, what if you're not attracted?
I don't think I could.
I mean, was Cialis or Viagra enough? I think your mind still has to want to do it.
Yeah. And
You know?
Yeah. And they have a fluffer. Like, that's got to be the worst job ever. You're standing in a fucking chair. Come over here. Got caught in traffic. Sorry. All right, come over here.
Yeah, what is she like, the bar back or the bar boy
Yeah.
who gets like, they tip out at the end?
Yeah.
The fluffer
Yeah.
gets a small percentage?
Yeah. They tap the thing on the, like in Vegas. Thanks.
I don't know.
But Ron Jeremy was in my dressing room. I don't know how the fuck he got in my
He's a
dressing room.
cochino,
At
huh?
Microsoft. And he had like sleep in his eyes. It's fucking 10:30 at night. Either he's coming out of his fucking eye socket here. He had like 2 fucking peas right here. He's just like, man, this dude is nasty. And my publicist, she's like, get that motherfucker out of your dressing room.
Really?
And we had to ask him to get out.
Was he embarrassed?
Yeah. But I mean, he's just like some felon fucking wandering around backstage at Microsoft. How the fuck does he get in there?
Wow.
He was the man.
He was the man back in the day. I always remember going, that's what...
He just got in trouble with the law not too long
He's
ago.
fucking never getting out of jail.
Yeah, what did he do?
Somebody was accused of rape.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
They didn't yell.
Way to,
Action!
Cut.
You cut! Cut!
way to bring that up. Gil.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Jeez.
yeah, he's. But also, somebody can say something about you and that can't be true, and then they protect them, and then you're not protected.
Yeah.
If it was somebody that said, "I'll get you, motherfucker," you'll see. Then they file a complaint, has to be investigated, gets in TMZ
Done.
or whatever, and then
Anybody can say anything.
you're fucking done. Which is
I hope that's on the way out. No, that people are giving me a little bit more like, hey,
Yeah.
you can't just throw everything at it. So he did this and his career's over without it. Ever.
Right.
You know, you just can't do that to people.
And then all of a sudden, if they say they go talk to your neighbors, or like, I'm fucked. You go talk to your neighbors. He goes, so did he go out a lot? No, he was home a lot. You see any people go in and out? Once in a while. I mean, it just all sounds bad. Once in a while, some kids would go over there.
Yeah.
What time would the kids leave? I don't know if they ever left. You're like, oh man, come on.
Do they have ski masks?
Fucking kids.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be renting a whorehouse just a couple blocks away from my house. My daughter came with she was, Dad, it's all over the buzz. They're doing out of that house. So I went by there a couple of times just to check it out. I didn't see traffic shit, but the guy eventually moved out. You know, they got him out of the area.
And when you're sex trafficking people, how do you get them not to just cut out? Like after they do somebody's nails, I'm gonna go wash my hands for the next person. They run out the back.
Yeah.
Now, how do they stay put?
I don't know.
Like they threaten you, or
I have no
because they say a
idea.
lot of those massage parlors and all that stuff. It's all people that are sex trafficking people.
How about the weirdos who, like, I have a massage therapist, and I asked her once, you get any weirdos? And she's like, yeah. I go, well, tell me. And she goes, well, sometimes they think it's all in.
Yeah.
You know, like they get the extra. She goes, hey, I'll give you extra. And she's like, no. She's like, oh, come on. And makes them feel uncomfortable.
Whoa.
There's some more. And I've heard some, like, stars that have done that. Like, come on. And I was like, what? Like crazy.
There was a guy who was a huge actor that was playing at the Dunhill Cup and at the St. Andrews Hotel, Rusacks, where they play the old courses right there. He went for a massage and tried to get one of them to do it, and she wouldn't do it, and he got thrown out. But like up the tournament, out of the hotel, everything.
Wow.
And I mean, that's the idea that, so you would think, well, maybe I know who I am. Maybe, they know who I am. Maybe it's okay. But it's like, that's just...
Sex is whatever makes you feel good. I learned that in college. That was a definition.
Yeah.
So people, because it's weird to somebody else, weird to you may not be weird to somebody else. And I did have a murder. We thought it was a John because it was a prostitute who got killed. So we started going picking up all the working whores in the area. And we had the first one take us to the next one. We went to the next one and knocked on an apartment, just a hotel, knocked on the hotel door. She says, who is it? Broad says, it's me. She opens up, and there's some other female in there, one of her working compatriots. And ugly. Had her wig off, the wig's off. She's sitting there eating Colonel Sanders chicken. And she says, who are these? He said, don't worry, they're cops, they're good. It's Gil and Ike. And so we go in there and we start talking to her about, look, we're here working the murder because it's your friend that's out there dead. So we want to find out who we think it's a John. And if you have anybody weird, anybody gets pissed off, she says, no, I got one regular. And he likes me to dump on him. And, didn't know the word dump. Is that dump your problems, tell me your problems, what was going on? So we finish it and we say, okay, let's get back to that dump. What do you mean dump? And she says, right here on his chest. Shit, right on his chest.
Cleveland Steamer.
And
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
The Cleveland Steamer.
And when I can't perform, he gets a little upset, but he doesn't start beating me up or anything. Says he's really a nice guy. And he works for, says something Unified School District right here on his arm.
Oh, good God. I mean, how do you get that? How do you get where that's a turn? Here it comes. It's fucking coming out.
I think, you know what I think it is? I'm not an expert, but I think some people actually, people are sex addicts. It's like an addiction with anything, alcohol,
Sure.
drugs, right? And some people have done so much and done everything that they're like, what else would be completely provocative and naughty? And they just step it up in places that we would never think of.
Yeah, I think you got to go to the next place.
It's called coprolagnia. There's an actual term for it. And when I was a cadet in the academy, you have to come back. They'd send you out on weekend to ride with regular cops. Then you come back on Monday and you tell, wait, what, anything go on special where you were out there? And somebody worked Malibu. And when they went to Malibu, they had these outhouses, but they had underneath, you could actually go in underneath, like on a hill. And you could go in underneath if they had to do anything to change the buckets or do whatever. And he says, we actually caught a guy, what he was doing, he was sneaking in there when people were going to take a dump. And that was his thing.
Like masturbating?
No, they were letting him shit on him. He went underneath, so somebody's ass is right above their head, and they're taking a dump in the shit.
What?
Yeah.
That's true?
Yeah.
Can this be edited out?
Man, who is that?
Oh my God.
I have no idea. This is shit. I was 21 years old in the academy. Well, the police
got out of the academy.
And it happened over at Malibu. No, the cop didn't go in there. They arrested the suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was doing that there.
Wait, so they arrested him with shit all over him?
Yeah, you can't. You don't have wash.
That's the worst job to have to go arrest that guy.
Oh, some of the people you run into are terrible.
Yeah,
there are terrible people out
wild,
there, man.
You ever seen anybody during the day that they like their fucking wigs fucking sideways and they got fucking red lips and they're made for like the middle of the night, like they're not made for the day.
Yeah.
And they're just fucking, you're like, what the fuck is with this person, man? And you look at them and they're all fucking thing with a wig, it's all fucking sideways, and they're going pay, and then they fucking like sink, like fucking slide off, and you're like, wow, man.
That's the crazy thing is you look at someone, you have no idea.
No idea
they're
what
up
the
to.
fuck
They
going-
could look clean cut.
Exactly.
Suit,
Exactly.
And they could be the darkest fuckers you've ever known.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's why you can't really trust anybody.
It's crazy, man. That guy from, that reporter from Channel 5 that OD'd in that hotel, like I went over to the fair. I did the fair, and the restaurant was there, and then he was the guy in the morning. Just
Chris
seemed
Burrows.
like the tall guy, family-friendly guy, perfect at announcing, and then, it was that guy. And you're like, wow, man, it's such a facade anyways, but...
Yeah.
And when they first announced they had found him, I told my wife and my daughter, I said, in a hotel, dope and gay.
Fuck. Yeah.
Where he was at. There's absolutely no reason for him to be in that area. If he's in a hotel where he's dope and gay.
But like you said, you can get a little bit sideways and more and more and more.
And I'm not complaining about the gay. The dope got him, but
right.
You could see that.
No, but
That's
also
fine.
if you're like when money's new to you, you go and do things and you're doing stuff that is new to you, and then it's something else, and then it's just a kind of a fucking feeds on its own.
Especially if you have any kind of mental disorder, like if you have like any kind of schizophrenia or any kind of bipolar, manic depressive.
Right.
They say when people are really manic, they just go on spending, and drinking and drugs and all. They can go nuts for those things. So it's like there's so many, there's so many different people with many problems that we couldn't even
How
understand.
did fucking
you
Matthew
know?
Perry take 70 fucking biking in a day? And
Is that
live?
true? Do you really
can't.
think? You can't. You can't.
Even Elvis would be like, that's some bullshit, man. You can't.
70. I remember
No.
I had a lot of back surgeries, and I remember, taking like 2 every 6 hours. So 6 pills a day, but 70?
No.
I don't-
Is there a way?
Not that I.
And then also, I took a hap for biking in, and we did a show, and then I was having a drink back in the back, and I was still in front of people, and I don't even remember. Like, even the next day, I think Cedric was on stage, and I got him off early, and he was like, "Hey man, you got me off early," and I said, "Did I?" And I was out of my fucking head, man. Like
on a half of Viking
on a half of fucking and a drink.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that amount.
I've got a high pain threshold, and I very seldom, even if I have knee replacement, kidney gone, never taken pain pills.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what I have an addiction
take 'em.
to? This is going to sound weird. So I don't do drugs. I rarely drink. I mean, in the past,
Yeah.
I've done stuff when I was, younger and stupid. But, so I have my back's not always great. A lot of surgery. So some people are scared when they get put under. I love it.
So do I.
I love anesthesia.
What do they give you?
So do I.
Propofol?
Yeah, yeah. But I always ask the anesthesiologist. I said, "Listen, I'm like a drug addict because I go, hey, look, I don't do drugs, I don't drink. Can you just can I feel it a little longer?
Yeah.
Can I just feel it a little longer and feel good for just a few minutes?" He goes, "Yeah, of course." So I do it, and then I wake up, and I'm like, "What the fuck, man? You said I could feel it." He goes, "Why don't you check your phone?" And I had like a 5-minute video of me going, "Hey!"
Oh, shit.
Had no clue what the hell was happening.
That's what happens with propofol.
Yeah.
They give it to you.
I
and
was
you
up
don't
for a few
remember.
minutes, and I was making all this.
Everybody's fucking laughing.
I'm doing Christopher Walken and all these impersonations,
Yeah.
and they're all laughing. And I'm like, oh my god, I don't want
He
anybody to
said,
see
look
this.
at your phone.
Look at your phone.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Out of your mind, huh?
Yeah, but there's something
It's
about
relaxing.
that. People are like, what if you die? I go,
relaxing.
how would I know? I'm being put under. How would I know if I died? Why are you scared? You just get put
Relaxing.
under.
I love it.
You love it too?
Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
It's like a game. Let's see how I can count this time. I've never gotten past 4.
No,
if
I
I
got a
go that long-
colonoscopy. I didn't get past 1. He goes, count down.
Right.
Yeah.
Just out.
I remember one
that- but that-
anesthesiologist looking at me and says, "Okay, I be your doctor." I said, "Okay." I said, "Oh, you big, you real big." Looking at me,
Where'd
getting
you
ready
go
to
for?
juice
Where
me
you
up.
gonna go get your fucking Saigon to go get your fucking shit done? Work-
They hire Asians as cedars.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, propofol, and
Just as Michael, how
Dangerous
good it
shit.
was.
I think that's the thing that they're using now primarily, right?
Yes.
I think so, yeah. It was, yeah. It
Milk,
was that.
milk of amnesia, they call it, because you don't know.
Well, what's crazy is like all the fentanyl. See, in our
Yeah.
time, or 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever it
fentanyl.
is, you do cocaine, you're probably not going to die unless you take a lot of cocaine.
Right.
You're not going to die off one sniff of cocaine.
Right.
But kids now, people are dying because there's fentanyl in it.
Right.
So many, people are dying. So I'm like, how could you want to do that drug? It's like a Russian roulette.
And 1,000 times stronger than hair. So even in high school, like those kids were doing it, and they looked like Skittles or something, and they were. I mean, just a little bit of can fucking put you out.
A little too much.
And-
a little too much, you're gone. And minuscule. It's crazy.
You'd think that they would be smart enough to at least learn. It's not like a dare.
There's no way you can tell what's in there.
Yeah, but you're going to get loaded with this stuff, and now, hey, you may die. They don't want to die. They just fuck it. I can take it. They're taking a shit, and it's. I would think that I would be looking for another drug to
Yeah.
get high. I'd just be afraid of dying.
And also, they're ups. Like you're on coke, you're fired up. You've done coke, right?
No, I'm drug free.
Okay, yeah,
I love
me too.
coke, by the way.
Yeah. So I was on coke one night, and I was like, I was so tired but wired. This was like 20 years ago.
There's a slogan: tired but wired.
Tired but wired. Cocaine. Enjoy it. Powder your nose today. But I remember I go, I'm tired. I'm just going to take a Xanax. My buddy goes, no, dude, do not take a Xanax right now. It's like going up and then down.
Yeah.
That's when you get a heart attack. That's when you got to wait till you're coming down, and maybe take something to sleep. But people don't know that. I didn't know that. I could have died. It's crazy.
Shit.
You live a good life.
Beyond me, I did live a good life. Now it's just this stuff. The wife was. We had an open house in my house Monday night. Invited the local sheriff's department that patrols my area and the fire department. Come on in.
To your house?
Yeah.
Come on, Mon, what the fuck you
just
do
to
that
feed
for?
the guys and tell them thank you. So 4 of the guys that were there are cops in my area. They were off duty, so we're the only ones that are drinking. And pretty soon it went from drinking socially. Now let's do tequila shots, and we're shooters, and now getting loud. And I got fucked up. the firemen were there. They had to leave. They went to a heart attack call. They came back later on. None of those guys were drinking. All the guys on duty, nobody was drinking. They went to the call. They came back. Wife made them some chocolate. And, we had food for them. We had everything. It was a nice day. But booze, if you could take booze away from me,
I bet you could drink a half a case of beer like nothing.
The only place I drink beer is here. I drink mostly. I'm a wine drinker or whiskey.
But who decides what a person's tolerance is? Like, everybody has a different tolerance.
I think you also build a tolerance because you see these skinny people who can take it back.
Yeah.
Functional alcoholics.
Yeah, I'm a lightweight now because I don't drink much. But if I have 2 whiskey and cokes, I'm good.
Oh no.
Yeah, fuck.
Plus, it's weight proportion to height, so I can carry a little more. Plus, I have built up a tolerance, but it was a good night.
When we go on tour, they go check your phone the next morning. I'll be like, who's this? Where did she go? And you're like, what the fuck am I doing? What's going on? You can't be out there.
Yeah.
I would black out fast. And you still look like you're functioning, but you're fucking blacked out.
That's the thing. If you don't remember what happened,
Oh, that's
shouldn't be
awful,
doing
man.
it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. You could drink a lot though. You can
No.
handle. No, lightweight. Couple drinks. That's it.
If you get a doubles, so all of a sudden you've had 4 doubles, you've had 8, maybe 10 shots. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And it doesn't look like it. And they're like, man, I was so fucked up last night. You go, you had 4 fucking at the club at Lakeside. I mean, literally, you'll say, can I get a vodka and cranberry? And there's this much left at the top, and the dude splashes fucking vodka in there. And you're like, is that all vodka?
Well, you splash cranberry on top. Yeah.
Cranberry
And
top.
it's all fucking 14 ounces of fucking vodka and 2 ounces of cranberry juice. Just this is fucking ridiculous.
You know what I do? I always now, especially when I'm older, because when you're younger, you're in college or whatever, you're in Hollywood,
Yeah.
you're like, you want them to give you more alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
But that-
$15 is going somewhere.
Shit.
But nowadays, I'm always like, hey, just light on the jack. I want a nice little drink.
Right.
Then I can be like, all right, I'll have another light one and ease my way into it if I want to.
I never went through that period, and I still haven't gotten.
So you
gotten
just
there.
go full speed ahead.
Let's go. Let's
Go
go.
on.
Used to drink lunch was vodka quickies, which was a double vodka martini.
Did you drink martinis? They fucked me up, man.
That's what it
Martinis
was.
out.
Yeah, martinis. I don't know, man.
What the fuck is in
Yeah,
there?
it gets
Vodka and vermouth.
That's it, though.
Yeah,
It's not
depending
even
on
a
where-
big. It's not even a
Yeah.
big thing. It's just the glass and
And it looks girly.
fucking
Yeah,
little
when it
ice
fucks you up like a
fucking thing.
Back then, it was a double vodka martini in a bucket, so it was in a regular bucket glass, and they were good. And depending on where you go down to Chinatown. Used to be a guy watch him make a martini. He says, "And hey, easy on the vermouth." He says, "All right." Big Chinese guy, and he poured it in there, and he said, "Vermouth." It never took his thumb off the cap. Went like this, extra dry, vermouth.
Oh, my
Put it down there. He said, "Here," and gave him his fucking vodka martini.
What's vermouth?
It's some kind of, I don't know. It's
Aaron, what's vermouth?
No one
something
knows
that
what
goes
vermouth
inside.
is.
Goes inside. It's. I want to say it's just a liqueur, but all you do is, matter of fact, I listened to a guy yesterday on a tube say all you do with the vermouth, really, for an excellent martini, is pour the vermouth in there, swish it around the glass, and then dump it out. You don't even leave it in there.
They at the club there.
Fortified wine.
It's wine.
Fortified wine.
Fortified wine.
Fortified wine.
So at Lakeside, they make martinis that have a thin layer. I mean, we're talking about a thin layer of ice. Almost
On
like
top.
When,
That's
like when a dog falls through ice and the guy goes and rescues a dog out there, like
Yeah.
at the lake. You can just see it, but it's a veneer of ice.
That's when it's a good one.
Yeah.
That's when it's going. After it's shaken, you go in there. It should be cold enough, and the ice will form on top.
Oh, is that? Yeah. Oh, that's how it is. Joe Pesci at the golf tournament I have, he goes, "Hey George, we're having a martini. Like only time I drink them, but
You feel
they
it.
go fast. Yeah, and I mean it's good, but if that was my drink, I don't think I would last.
Have you ever been drunk at an event or something where you're like, how many? No, or something where you didn't realize you drank too much and you got to host this thing.
They
and
took me off the stage one time.
That's probably happened to a lot of comedians. But
They just came
tell me
out
about
there-
that. I want to hear that.
I was supposed to go to this thing later, but I was at someplace else and we were drinking. And they go, "Hey, you got to go over there. They need you." Oh, they're running behind, which is the worst fucking thing. Oh, all right, they're running behind. Hey, and when I got there, I got to the side of the stage. It just overwhelmed me, and I walked out there, and I started talking, and I started talking some more, and I was fucking blacked out. They fucking got me and took me off.
What, you just like...
Just fucking, fuck you guys. I remember, fuck you guys.
Trust me, I've always said.
I said cunt, I think. I was like, I'm like, what the?
I've always said it's my wife that has kept everything together.
That's all he remembers. I remember.
She's kept everything together over the years. My wife has. She's been pissed off at me so many times, because of drinking. And
You ever piss yourself?
no, not while drunk.
Really?
Yeah, I pissed
That's
myself.
surprising.
I think I
pissed
shit.
myself.
I think I shit while I was walking. I was on the. I went on a cruise. And
On the cruise.
I think I just shit and kept walking.
That's the way you do it.
And because the next day in the room I was like, what smells in this fucking thing? Like a goddamn fucking snowball of caca. I open the door and like, what are those things? I go over there. So they're like a fucking caca trail back to my fucking quarters, wherever they call those things. My fucking suite. And I'm like, oh man, that's a lot of fucking pina coladas with a fireball floater. And I'm like, the next day they go, you all right? Hey, my fucking fireball to sea air fucking ration is off. I mean, fucking destroyed.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. But
I'd shit my pants just laughing at you. That doesn't gross me out. It makes me laugh.
And just fucking brush it off. Just fucking night. It's nothing. He goes, man, weren't you embarrassed? Motherfucker, I've had 1,000 embarrassing. That's just another, all right. I'll stay in tonight. I'll go back out tomorrow like nothing happened.
Does it affect you at all? Like if you bomb or if you like get or whatever, you ever feel bad about it or you ever feel embarrassed or you don't care at this point?
You know what it is, man? Like I didn't know anything about triggers or anything, So when you do the shows, like you try not to drink, and if you like, listen, Elvis was still a drug addict, and he would fucking leave while people were still in their seats, because if you go backstage, then the music starts, then people come in, and then you start drinking, and then more people come in, and now it's fucking 1:30, and you've been drinking since fucking 10:30. That's why he'd get the fuck out of there, and he was still a fucking druggie. The only way for me or guy comedians not to, if they have an issue of drinking, is to get the fuck out of there right after you're done. Like leave.
Don't hang around.
Don't hang around. Because even on the nights where you had a tough night before, just drinking wise or show wise, and then you're going to get a little bit of a drink before, and then if it works out, you go back there, and as soon as it's quiet for 2 minutes, you'll go, hey, you want to get a drink? Just a little drink. They're like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And that's it. But if you can stay away from the fucking triggers of it, then you can make it.
Do you feel like you're better when you just have one drink before you go on?
I think so, yeah. Sometimes
just to calm it down a little bit.
Fuck yeah. And the Hennessy had the Hennessy Black when I did my talk show, and they gave me a couple bottles of Hennessy Black, and then I would have my suit on, and the ladies would be out the door already. Go, oh, to come back, I gotta leave something. I fucking take that thing and fucking 2 fucking full swallows and go back out there. I'm like, that motherfucker, he's in a good mood. That fucking Hennessy Black, when I was walking, you could
Get you
feel
going. It warms you up. Yeah.
Just 2 little flip-flop, and
I know one.
and then all of a sudden now, if you don't do it, then now you got your alcohol shit and you're superstitious. They go, come on, man, you're running late. I got. No, we don't have time for that. And now you're like, am I relying on it?
It's like a sleeping pill. If you sleep well on a sleeping pill, the next night you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do by myself without the sleeping pill. I have a friend who's a big rock star, man. He's, from the 80s, like one of the best guitarists ever. And I was like, God, how do you just do it for people, those guitar solos and not? He goes, half a Xanax before I go out every show of my entire life. Fuck. It just takes him down a little bit. Or maybe it's a quarter of Xanax or a half, whatever. Just takes him down a little bit. You know, it's like you start relying on that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, that's not a good, you know.
Those guys, yeah. I knew Eddie Van Halen, and I would say, how'd you deal with hangovers? And you're like, I didn't. I'm like, what do you mean? I never had one. You're like, how do you never have a fucking hangover? Because I'd stay drunk and high the whole tour. For fucking 2 years? Yeah. Fucking high for 2 years? Yeah. So what?
You mean he just drinks when he wakes up throughout the
just
day?
Stays. He goes, remember when I was really ripped? He goes, into like the early 80s, I just had no fat on me. And I said, of course. Just fucking, just goes, I was trying to quit. I had the DTs. And I was still drugging. So he goes, you remember my stomach, how flat it was? I go, that's all from the you're doing crunches. You're doing fucking crunches
Throwing
all
up.
day. He goes, all day DTing.
Wow.
And you're just like, man, that just sounds fucking brutal.
Brutal.
I was throwing up at the Peninsula in New York, like at 5:30, and I was like in my head, what, 9:30? I'm gonna be on stage at Radio City, but at 5:30, and you're just like, fuck, what is this? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Well, see, then my wife still has a long way to go.
Sideways, man. No, you're fucking sideways, man. You're sideways,
Yeah.
and you're still doing it, but you're fucking sideways. Like all those things, you know, those fucking Stars Born, or I'm Dancing as Fast as I Can. Any type of fucking movie with any type of fucking show business aspect, you got to write until the fucking rails they come off, or you can't be good. There's something about. Like a fucking gunslinger, you just fucking shoot. Maybe you get hit, you go to the next town, you're fucking on tour, you're fucking going, and that's part of it.
Unfortunately, there's no drug or no alcohol that doesn't have consequences.
Right.
And you know, if there was, everybody would take it. It's
Right.
like that movie. You take a pill and you're just.
And you're trying to fucking stay out there like on that fucking tightrope where you're like higher than everybody else. They're like, oh, this mother, and you pull it off. And then you pull it off again. And then at some point, either it goes away or that goes away, but you manage to kind of stay connected to at least some reality.
Yeah.
So that you're not completely fucking lost. And you can't figure out why nobody wants you anymore. Nobody's calling you. And they go, hey, you know, how's the ticket sales? Oh, man, they had to cancel the second show. What? And all that shit starts fucking.
It gets to your head and you feel like I'm a loser. What happened?
And then you think nobody's watching, and everybody's watching. You think you're all cool. Like, hey, you're in the fucking clubs, you're drinking, and this shit, and you're like, oh, you're married and fucking out there. And you go, oh, I'm in Sacramento. Who gives a fuck? But everybody knows. When you think nobody knows, everybody knows.
It's crazy, right?
Fucking crazy.
Delusional. It's kind of delusional.
In your own mind, you think, there's no way nobody knows. What the fuck?
That's true.
Wild. That's
True. People try to I mean, look, it's endless. The amount of people who try to cover it up, and I'm fine, and you're like, how's that guy?
Right, yeah.
I went to a treatment center in Connecticut that was, you know, it was life changing, but like the person there before me, one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, I never heard he had a problem.
Wow.
I obviously never mentioned it, but like really? He's got oh yeah, like major. And what comes with that is depression, major depression.
Right.
Alcohol,
Fucking depression,
just
man.
brings you down. That's what that stuff. All the drugs. When you come down, it's the coming down. And how do you deal with that? It's like, you know, what am I doing? You start to feel bad about who you are. So many people go through that shit. So many people. It's hard, man.
Even in fucking police, right? And fucking bad lieutenant. Oh, there's guys that are out there that are
right?
fucking crazy.
There's guys
Did you
that
have
are out
some of those guys?
There's guys that are out there that kill themselves. You know, they go through depression, they go through suicide. You know, they do a lot of stuff. I haven't hit rock bottom yet. I don't know. I've never.
Well, you don't drink every day. Gil drinks every day.
I don't drink every day. I drink a lot of wine.
I don't even drink in my house. I got more shit. Listen, I would consider myself. I was not as much anymore, but from 2000 fucking 70 fucking 5 to 2013, maybe a functioning maybe an alcohol, maybe.
Well, it's good you could at least say that.
Because you can say it.
You know?
So Maya, my daughter comes over to my house, and she's like, "Are you an alcoholic?" And I said, "What? Are you an alcoholic?" I said, "What do you mean? Are you an alcoholic?" I said, "Listen, I don't need you to worry about what I am, okay? Or judge me for whatever. Like, I drink, and if you're so fucking concerned about whether I'm an alcoholic or not, then fucking don't take my money then." And it's silent, and she goes, "You're getting a little bit overheated. Let me go get you a beer."
Oh my God!
As soon as you start saying, "Well, don't take the money," okay, I went too far. Don't worry, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, well, no one wants to hear it.
Nobody. There's no way that we were going to have a discussion about whether. Well, let's talk about it inside, shall we?
What if someone asked you about it? What if it was like, like a close friend? You wouldn't want to hear it either.
No, fuck.
Never. See, that's like when I watch those shows, like, what's it called? Intervention. You watch it, and they're like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here. Fuck you." And you're like, "Oh my God.
That fucking suck my dick. It never works. And you, Bob, fuck. Yeah.
I had a sister.
I fucking been kissed with your fucking tongue as I was a kid. How am I gonna not grow up with fucking problems?
The girl's inhaling the air that you spray to clean off your desk.
Fucking, they won't stay at Office Depot out. They fucking throw you out. What? Get the fuck out of here. Who's that?
You got it.
She takes the fucking computer cleaner and fucking inhales it. Get the fuck out of here.
You got to hit rock bottom yourself.
They even have that put away if you go to a fucking Office Depot. That people go in there and buy that shit, and they get fucking high off that.
I had a sister that died at the age of 47. She was a stoned to bone alcoholic. She used to drink that shit.
Your sister?
Found vodka bottles underneath the bed. She was.
And where did that come from?
I'd like to say her husband. Her and her husband were drinking, and they were partners, and she just became a stoned to the bone.
Do you think that somebody?
And she was the nicest one in my family, and they tried an intervention with her, and I wouldn't have any part of it. I said, "Yeah, she was the nicest one in my family," and I said, "I can't do that. I'm not going to go there and sit there and beat the shit out of her." Bash her because of what she's done, we'll do something else.
And she was the good one, huh?
She was the good one. She was the nicest one in the family.
But I don't think, I think, the idea is
the concept.
That people intervene because they love the person.
Sure.
They don't want, we love you, we're not judging you, we just we want to help you. But when you're that far gone or you're that, you don't see that. You think people are ganging up on me.
That didn't help.
It's just like, it's hard. Sometimes it works, but a lot of times it doesn't.
I don't know, but
I'd get a phone call. I'd get a phone call from some stranger. "Hey, you don't know me, but your sister gave me your card, told me to give you a call. Here it is. She says you'll know what to do. This is where she's at." And I'd go pick her up. And I got her into a couple of facilities. The last time, when you said hit rock bottom, she had been in Beverly Hospital for almost 30 days in a coma. My mom was working there at the time, had gone in there, didn't even recognize her. And finally she found out, "Hey, that's your sister." They told me. I went down there. And I'm visiting her and I'm rubbing her hand. And at one time, I'm just sitting there saying, "I love you. You're going to pull through this. I love you. It's okay." And she came out of the coma. And that was rock bottom. She came out of the coma. They had already told the daughters, "Do you want us to resuscitate? Don't let her go." Doctor says that's as good as she's going to get right there. And so we made all these arrangements. Then she came out of it. And she got herself a job, cleaned herself up. She went to work for this company. She was so good to the company as a secretary. They gave her a couple of jobs, secretary, receptionist. Because of her work, the company had made a bunch of money off of what she was doing for them. They chartered a bus. They took everybody to Vegas for a weekend. And they picked up the tab. And the dog's already said, "If you ever drink again, 3 months is what you'll get." And she went to Vegas, fell off the wagon in Sin City.
Of course.
And she lasted about 3 months after that.
Motherfucker, you can't go to Vegas when you're in recovery. You got to go to fucking
Florida.
Alpine Village or some shit where it's not happening,
Well, we didn't
fucking
know
Knott's Berry Farm.
It was her.
Can't go to Vegas.
She was good. She was dry. It was her choice. Nobody else knew about it, but she got on. She went. She fell off, and she lasted about 3 months. And then she finally passed away. And I used to tell my mom, "Hey, it's not your daughter. That's not Sylvia. It's not my sister. That's the devil you're messing with. The demon has her. And the demon is the booze. The booze is." And so she passed away at 47. I said, "She's no longer suffering."
But was it her husband that you thought it was her husband that was a bad influence? If she was the good one?
Yeah, he was a. I won't get into what he was. I don't even know if he's still alive, but he was also an alcoholic at the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you live with someone who's enabling you, it's just back and forth. It's like it's never gonna get better.
Fuck.
Never. If someone's there that also likes to drink with you,
Right.
you're fucked.
And then I don't think you can fucking drink excessively with somebody that's either a girlfriend, a lover, whatever, and not fight. Like you're gonna fight because alcohol is gonna fucking just agitate some. What did you say?
Yeah.
What did you say? I didn't say anything. What did you say? Because listen, you don't want me to fucking say what I'm gonna say. What are you gonna say? And then you're fucking drinking, and then you say something you don't even know you said it, and now it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
we
fucking
never-
police
Nobody's
come.
a good drunk. Very few people.
Nobody.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I'm a good.
I don't know.
I'm happy all the fucking time. The way you're
Maybe,
laughing
maybe.
here,
Yeah.
that's the way I am over there.
You don't go drive. You don't do anything. You sit
till
in
I
your chair.
till I get tired. Then I get sleepy.
I had this fine ass chick one time in the limo. You know, we fucking go on to the casino and something. And we were drinking. We played golf. We were drinking, and we said we'll meet up later on. And then all of a sudden she's gets in the other side, and I'm looking at her. I said, "You all right?" And she's like silent, and you can kind of see her like the light's not on. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, "Are you all right?" And you can just see her just looking straight ahead. And I'm like, "What the fuck's going on, Amy? What's going on?" I turn the light on. She's sitting in the dark like this. Just flip. I said, "What the fuck's going on?" Just this. I turn the light on. This is what I see. And you're like, "Is that for me?" All glazed over. She kept drinking after we dropped her off. Hey, we'll go clean up and we'll go. She kept drinking. So she got in the car. She looked okay. Just out of her fucking mind.
Yeah. And try telling someone when they're drunk that, hey, I'm going to get you an Uber. It's just a small thing like that. Hey, let me get you an Uber. It's like, what? What are you fucking... What the fuck are you talking about? I don't need a fucking Uber. Are you kidding me? I'm like, well, I think you're drinking a little bit. It's like, fuck. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that they're drunk or they're out of hand. I had some friends where I'm like, hey, you're not driving. And they're like, fuck you, seriously. Are you kidding me?
Wow,
I'm like,
I know.
are you what? Can I record you talking right now, you fucking idiot? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've Ubered. I've called, made advance. I know I'm going to a bar, this bar, so I'll Uber from there. Don't worry about it. I'll just Uber from there.
We were following this person in the car, and we said, I still remember the window was like this open, and we went in and said, "You all right to drive?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's not that far. I'm okay." And we're like, "All right, but we'll be right behind you." And she's driving. All of a sudden, we see the car go like a little bit of like that, and we're like, "Oh
man,
that's not good." And they were coming around a turn, and she went straight and hit a fucking tree, and on both sides of the window, fucking powder came out. like fucking snot out of it. The fucking airbags. All the powder came out, but the window was cracked like that. We were just there. You all right? Yeah. And just shot out the sides.
Did the cops come?
Yeah, we took off. We left her there.
That's what I was. What happened to her?
That.
We left her.
We were fucking laughing. We were laughing, and we go over to the thing. She goes, "You all right?" She's like, "What happened?" Fucking shit's still in the air. The fucking airbag dust. And she's like, "Oh, my knee!" Like, get the fuck out of here.
I go out with the wife. I was just
And then I went back home. They're like, you were back fast. I was literally got fucking 11 minutes. I was gone in 11 minutes. He fucking came back. Wow, what happened? Nah, it's not working out.
the wife does a lot of driving for me. And we just went out Saturday night, went to listen to the Mavericks play, and then we went back to this place called Stevens Steakhouse, have a nightcap, and she just doesn't drink much at all. And she just says, "You want me to drive home?" And I said, "Yeah, here." Most of the time I'll give her the keys when we first get there. I said, "Here, you drive."
But you know what? Let me ask you this. If she doesn't drink much, right, and you're drinking a lot, you're probably the horny one.
So I am.
And she's probably like, Jesus, guys, another drunk guy.
Yeah, can you?
Right?
At my retirement.
I mean, can you imagine fucking somebody that's completely sober and you're just like, you're kissing with your mouth all open, and the fucking shit's, it's all fucking wet around here. You're all into it, and they're just like, they're fucking completely sober.
Oh.
Pitching their nipple. You like that shit? You like that?
You're like Dudley Moore, and they're, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's taking the knife out of the cheese. You think she likes some cheese? Oh man, I can't imagine.
They're fucking completely sober, and you're fucking out there fucking wild.
You both got to be buzzing. You can't have one completely sober and one drunk person. That's just not right.
When I retired,
sucking a dick of a dude that's not gonna remember. How was it last night? How was what? You know I don't like to do that. Do what?
The night of my retirement, I had shot glasses made. And I told Jimmy, when I get up there to talk, I want your waiters, shot at tequila at every one of them. Just pass them out. Get them out there. And the sheriff was sitting right in front of me. And I got up on stage and I started talking. I just started saying, hey, you know, for those of you who don't know me, I haven't had a drop of alcohol. And I hadn't. I said, I haven't had a drop of alcohol in over a year. I said, don't worry, I didn't do
For a
anything.
fucking Chicano, that's a lifetime.
Yeah, I said, I didn't
For
do
a
anything.
Chicano, like, what? I'm like, shot what?
I haven't, I didn't do anything stupid, and I didn't get in any trouble. But during that time, the undersheriff, every time a cop would get popped for drunk driving or getting, because they get popped just like everybody else, and they got popped and say, well, another guy caused embarrassment to the department, got pulled over by CHP, was arrested, and he was always putting this up in the teletype for us, you know, like scaring everybody, you know, to make sure, because now you're going to get burnt. And it was chicken shit what he was doing. So I got this. I said, I didn't do anything stupid, and I hadn't been in any trouble. I said, truth of the matter is I haven't had a drink in a year. I said, but I said, the realities are I just didn't want to give Larry Waldy a shot at catching me dirty. So cheers.
Oh,
You know,
fuck.
and-
You went out like that, huh?
Let me ask you this: do you think a lot of police officers, when they pull another cop over, if they're drinking, they let him go? It's like brotherhood.
Well, they in the old days, not only would I worked the rough areas, so not only would you let cops, but citizens, because we had better things to do than take the time to arrest a drunk driver. So you'd get their keys, throw them in the trunk of the car, or hey, do you have anybody who can come pick you up, or take them down to the local Winchell's, drink some coffee, and when you figure out how to get back to your car, you're good enough. But you can't do that anymore because now
Cameras.
cameras all over the place. Some guy got his ass kicked when they did that here in East L.A. Got his ass kicked and sued the department because he should have been arrested. Same thing, City of Industry. They let him go. 2 blocks later, he got in an accident.
Yeah.
Should have done your job. So they don't do that anymore. What they might do with cops, what they might do, if you're not an ass, because cops can, there's nothing worse than a drunk cop when he's an asshole. They just hook you up, take you to jail like everybody else. If you're cooperative and you go along with it,
They'll just let you go.
they'll put you in the back seat of the car, take you to the station. They won't book you. They'll take you to the station and either have somebody come pick it or have your boss, your watch commander from wherever you're assigned, come and pick you up. And
You get an earful.
yeah, you're going to get
won't
an earful.
happen again.
Yeah, you're going to get an earful. You may get some time off. But you save thousands of dollars, you know, and attorney fees
Yeah.
and the drunk thing. So, but they don't mess with you too
They don't
much anymore.
tolerate shit anymore.
No, ever
They
since,
can't.
no, they don't. Mad.
The old days, when you didn't
liability.
have to fucking.
The liability is what changes. You let somebody go and you get in trouble with the department. You get, so just don't.
Yeah.
Even when a restaurant wouldn't cut you off, and then until someone left and killed somebody, then all of a sudden you go, where were you drinking at? Then they started to put the place responsible for that person. Like you see they're clearly drunk and you keep serving them, and something happens, like you could sue. Everybody's getting sued.
I find more and more today. Maybe just because the guys
I'm good.
I drink
Yeah.
with.
I'm a lightweight.
I've still got.
Oh.
We have the guys that I drink with now. Maybe they're because it's more responsible. You find each other saying, "Hey, I'll give you a ride home. I'll take you home. Or, hey, can we call somebody for you or Uber?"
Right.
And more people are doing that today than they were before. That's all because of Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. They got out there, and I started Drunks Against Mad Mothers, but we try to drink responsibly.
You remember in high school, they used to have people come speak who like killed someone or drink and drive, and you have to sit in the auditorium and listen to their stories and go, "Oh my God, what the
Yeah,
Right.
And no one listened.
yeah.
Nobody listened.
Nobody
They'd
listened.
be like, who's laughing? George? How about laughing? And all of a sudden, he's like, I killed someone, motherfucker. All right, I'm here trying to save you from. Oh, all right. like everybody's laughing. What am I saying? Like everybody starts, they're laughing more. I'm like, I'm not even saying anything. They're laughing more. The guy's like, if you're gonna waste my time, he goes, thanks a lot, George. I didn't fucking say anything. I was just fucking started. I was chuckling. What the fuck?
It's those frontal
Can't take
lobes.
it.
They're
Yeah,
not formed
they're
yet
not
in
formed yet.
children. They don't listen. They don't know what
This-
the.
I mean,
There's a referee that just died this last
Mills Lane.
Mills Lane.
Fucking great guy.
Great guy. Great guy. I'm at a homicide convention, and he's the keynote speaker. Let's get it on. And I don't know what. Yeah, he's the one that started. Let's get it on.
Yep.
I'm sitting there at a table with drunks. The guy that broke me in at homicide finally had to pick me up. Come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. Made me get up and walk it because I couldn't stop laughing. Mills Lane is up there giving a nice speech. I don't know what the fuck these guys were doing to make me laugh, and I couldn't stop laughing. They fucking walked me out. Now I'm working on the Night Stalker case. So I go up to San Francisco on a case.
Right.
And Carl Klotz looks at me and he says, I know you. He says, have you ever had a case? I said, I've never had a case up here. He says, never been to San Francisco? I said, never been to San Francisco on a case at all. And did we work something together? No, never. And then somebody told a joke and I started laughing. And he says, fuck it, the homicide convention.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God!
Fucking Mills Lane?
He remembered me from my laughter. His partner, Frank Felzon, the one that came on, and he comes in. He says, hey, Frank, remember this guy? Frank says, I don't know the guy. He says, no, take a good look at me. So I'm telling you, I don't fucking know him. And he says, watch this. He tells a joke. I start laughing. He goes, the fucking convention.
Oh my God! You were on the Night Stalker case?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
You didn't know that?
I think I saw a documentary you were in. Were you in a
Yeah,
documentary?
fucking Dorothy Hamill fucking haircut.
I did. I was like, wait a minute, I've seen it. You're a star.
I'm just an
You're not the one that pulled him over.
No, I never pulled him over.
Didn't he get like he was in a street or something?
He was in the street, tried to carjack a car. They got him, they beat him, and then held him down. The cops got there, took him to jail.
But also, how about there was another guy that they pulled over that had underwear in the car, and guy was just a fucking deviant.
Yeah.
And right, same fucking.
That guy, they didn't have
Same theory.
They didn't have YouTube and whatever the porno on the internet then, because when we did a search warrant at his house, all he had was pictures of women right out of magazines. You know, if they were modeling Sears catalog, and he had women's underwear that were cut up in the crotch. The guy was a freak, just not my freak.
Oh my God! So you actually spent time with
Yeah.
the Night Stalker, like talking to him?
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Did you honestly? When
He was the first guy. He was the first guy that said it's one guy. Everybody else was like, it can't be one guy. He's like, no, I'm telling you, it's one guy. And everybody's like, they were like, he said, motherfuckering me up, and that fucking guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Because one guy.
Well, let me ask: when you looked in his eyes, like everybody says, when you look in the eyes, you see the devil. What did you really see when you see him? Was he just a guy that was
Honestly,
dark?
another human being. That's all he fucking was. You know, everybody, that's probably one of the biggest questions. Were you afraid? Were you nervous when you went in there? It's like a quarterback going out there, game day. During the week, he's a fucking drunk. He's a family man, goes out with his buddies. Sunday, puts on his football gear.
football player.
It's football player, and everything is nothing.
You never would have thought this guy did this stuff.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I thought he did. 'Cause when I went in there, I knew he was.
No,
the
no,
guy.
no. But if you didn't see all that stuff and you met a guy on the street, would you ever look at this guy and think something's off with this guy?
No. He was the most articulate murderer I've ever interviewed. And shit, I spent 26 years working murders.
Did he ever say any dark shit to you?
Well, you say dark shit. He said something that is very in line with sex. We talked about shitting. Mm-hmm. And he shit at one of the houses. Mm-hmm. And he said, did you see it? I said, it was a dog turd. I said, no. He said, that wasn't no dog turd. He said, I'll tell you exactly where it was. And he told me that. He says, that was me. Mm-hmm. And so that was...
He took a shit and
killed someone at the house.
and killed someone.
left somebody for... He left them for dead. They didn't die. That was the young girl.
That was the one who got him? Or like eventually?
No.
No, it didn't
No,
help.
no.
Right.
And then when he caught him, he said, "Did you see it?" And he goes, "I saw it. I thought it was a dog. That was me."
Yeah.
Like that, playing that fucking game.
Yeah.
And then, damn.
He called me Gil. I called him Rich.
I mean, and then, like he stayed at the Cecil, but he didn't have anything in the room. Like he had a locker at the bus station, and that's where he would change clothes. So if you went to the Cecil, if you were a cop and you go, "Can I look in room 507?" and you take you in there, you go, the guy's got maybe shoes or whatever,
Looks
nothing
fine.
in there, looks fine. Because he knew, that's how fucking smart they are. They're going to go to the room, they're going to fucking bust me. he went and got a locker at the Greyhound bus station, and he would go in there and put his fucking kill clothes on and whatever he needed, and then go do his shit and come back and change back and then be back in there.
And then how'd they find that he was going to that locker? They just followed him, or no?
He had in his person. He had a ticket to the locker.
Otherwise,
And plus,
they never would have
we
found
had an
that locker.
informant that told us he was hanging around the Greyhound bus depot. He'd come and go. That was at the Greyhound
That's
bus
not fast. I don't know why that stuff fascinates me. I have horrible nightmares, a lot. I have bad nightmares. And a lot of it probably is from watching these fucking shows that we
Do you
watch.
scream like you wake up in fucking terror?
I don't wake up. I just wake up and go, oh my God.
Yeah,
that
you
was-
know, I get asked that all the time. Why do you think people are so fascinated in watching all this shit?
Yeah.
And I don't know, but then you stop to think, horror movies.
Yeah, that's what I love, horror movies.
Years ago, everybody wanted to go see the horror movie. They want to go scare the shit out of
Still.
them. And they still do. If it scares you, it's good. And that was a sign of sexual deviant, one of the things with Richard.
That's not true, though.
Yeah, it is.
But watching horror movies?
No, not watching horror movies.
I was like, oh shit.
Scaring people is a sexual deviancy.
Oh, scaring.
He would stick a gun in your face and
Watch you shit.
He didn't want to kill you. He just wanted to watch you shit in your pants. He wanted you to see you scared.
How about that? Like that girl, like the girl that, it was kind of by you, right? They shot the Latina girl. No, they shot the Asian girl.
They shot the Asian girl. They shot the Latina first.
Shot the
She lived. She's the one that went around the front.
Yeah.
And then he comes back.
Okay, so he's in the apartment.
He's in the
He's in the
gets her
kitchen,
garage.
ducked down.
The Japanese girl ducked down. Yes, and then he waited on the other side of a countertop. He tells me she was stupid. She put her hands on top of the countertop because it was quiet. She was waiting, nothing there, and she pulled her head up like this to see over the countertop. He was on the other side of the countertop, like right there, waiting with a gun for her to pop her head up.
And just shot her in the head.
Shot her in the head. Shot her right.
But
in
you
the-
had her hands like they saw her hands.
right in the running lights. And he had already hit her in the back of the head with a gun and knocked her down. Left her there and then came around this side and just waited for her to come back on.
You know,
Man.
it's crazy because, you know, I like horror movies and I like the adrenaline, and some people say, oh, maybe it helps you coping with death. If you like watch these things, then maybe death won't be as bad. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know what the psychology
I don't know
is,
what
man.
it is.
But
I think I've always, my mom
everybody's
introduced me
watching
to
it.
horror movies, and I always watched them since I was young. But like I watch these series that my friends go, I watched one episode. I had nightmares. The Dahmer series.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
It's one of the most disturbing
see
things
it?
I've ever seen.
Well, I started watching it.
What about
and
when he cut that fucking steak?
I watched
like a
it.
butcher. He's eating it.
A heart.
We've never seen that shit on TV. I never seen
That was
that.
just. It felt like what you were watching was real.
Right.
That was the.
I started watching it, and then my wife came in the room, and I'm watching this stuff, and I said, "Oh, okay, I'll change it. You don't have to watch this stuff." And I was looking at it totally analytically. You know, I'm looking at it. I want to see what the guy's doing, what he did, and from the police side of me. And she says, "No, leave it on. I want to watch it." So she starts watching. Then she said, "Oh, how gross! How can you watch this stuff?" And I told her, I said, "Dear, I said I used to do this shit for a living. This was what I did. I can't go." So I just changed it. Never went back to it.
Right.
But
But
she's
you've
wrong.
seen some dark shit.
It's dark to most people. It's not dark, you know, because a doctor.
used to it.
Yeah,
Right, doctor having
a doctor
surgery.
does all this shit, and it's not.
What about when the police officer opened the refrigerator?
And sees a head.
Fucking screamed. He screamed.
Yeah. Who wouldn't scream?
A cop. The fucking cop screamed.
Would you have
In
screamed?
the movie, no.
I mean, fucking screamed.
In the movie,
He was like, "What the?"
Crazy.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Psycho's based in theory on a real movie.
Gaines?
Gaines.
Gaines, yeah.
And he used to kill bodies, cut them, skin 'em, and use the skin for lampshades, furniture coverings.
Yeah.
And so the cop that
Ed
first
Gein?
Ed Gein.
Ed Gein.
Gein. And the first cop that went to see him, he went nuts. He was they had to put him in a
Yeah. They
an
get in your
asylum.
fucking head, man. They get in your head.
And see, I'd look at see a head. Well, the first thing I'd do is just back up. Okay, let's see what's around the head. You know, just look at it scientific, not because it startles me. Unless Like I might go, you know.
That's another. I mean, but also the thing that I find. So it's like 3 a.m. and you hear a noise, and his family moved out. He's like, "You guys,
I'm on myself.
Move out, because who knows if this guy's not going to come over here."
Oh, that was yeah. I remember that in the documentary, right? Yeah.
And that really happened.
So he's in the house, and you hear something.
Psychologically, I just wake up. I don't know what it is.
So he's in the house with his back to the wall with the gun. He's trying to clear the house, and the phone rings. How fucking high would you jump at 3 a.m?
That's a horror movie.
When your mind is like this, and the phone rings.
Yeah.
Fuck that,
dude.
I mean, the phone rings. Your head. You're not even thinking about the phone. You're like, do I fucking hear something? Bring.
Oh man, you know, back then you didn't have a security system.
No.
You know, now I have a security system. I got a big dog. I got a bat. I'm getting a freaking shotgun. You think it's a good idea to have a gun in your house?
As long as you're not afraid to use it, and know how to use it. Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid to use it if somebody broke in my house.
It's not a bad idea.
You live alone?
Yeah, I have a dog. I have a lot of friends over a lot, but I live alone. You?
It's a trip. Yeah.
How do you like it? It's lonely. We're
it's a little bit, but if you hear shit, I mean, it's crazy, right? If you're crazy, if you hear shit, I would hear things in the house, and you'd be like,
I wake up like that.
I'm in the house. It's a big fucking, could be in the backyard, could be in the side of the house.
I have cameras outside, so I see it right there.
Yeah, I have
you
cameras.
know,
you set your alarm before you go to bed?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I gotta start doing that shit. What the fuck am I doing?
I set my alarm if I'm going to sit down and watch TV. I was just like, I'm in for the night. I'm setting my alarm. No one's coming over. I lock my door. My alarm's set.
You know what the fuck? How come I don't do that? I'll fuck it, Chicano off.
I don't set. I've never,
fucking
my alarm has never been set.
What the fuck?
My cameras are on.
You have a dog
my
too?
never been set.
Oh, good. Yeah. Usually, if people hear a big dog barking, they're kind of like,
and that's really kind of why the dog is.
Richard said he used to get along with dogs. He wasn't afraid of dogs.
Mine, I think he'd be afraid of.
It's kind of like the dog is the best because it's really the best of the fucking thing. They can hear somebody outside walking by or somebody
smell them.
looking.
You can smell them.
Yeah.
You know, the Ring camera caught a couple of, because I live up a hill and then there's, over there kind of open.
What's your address?
Hey, did P22 go by your house?
P22 was around the neighborhood. So I caught a couple of people walking by in the middle of the night. They looked fucking demonic. They look fucking demonic. There was a guy walking in the middle of the street, skinny, and he long arms, and he turned like that, and it caught him, and his eyes caught the light, and you're just like, with a fucking wig on, you're like, this shit, that's fucking. If I opened my door and that motherfucker was like, excuse me, you live here? I'd fucking that fucking shit. I mean, hey, you left your car open. I mean, they look fucking weird, man.
Yeah,
weird, fucking weird. Like fucking out of the, not even like a fucking human.
I've never had a problem, knock on wood.
But I live by the Los Feliz murder house up the street.
Oh, Jesus.
So go ahead, Dad.
No, but I was doing some performance. I have this band, and we were playing it. It's called The Stages. Just like a live virtual show. And we're playing, and we ordered food, and it says leave at the door. And so after our performance, we open the door, and there's no food there. So my friend gets on the phone, bitching at the people. What the hell, Uber? And where's our food? And she's like, here, sends the picture. I left it. So then I go back up on my camera, and I rewind, and you see this guy. He's just like, comes up, takes my bag, walks away. He had like 6 other bags with him. He had walked up and down the street, and he just looked like he was somewhere else. Wow. Like it was kind of freaky. It's kind of like you're violated a little bit. You kind of feel like, what the hell? And you're like, all right, what other creeps are going to come in? And, because you hear about home invasions and shit.
Yeah.
What usually, tell me, who's vulnerable for a home invasion usually? What do these guys look like?
Anybody.
Don't be a man or it's a man.
Don't they mostly go at a certain house because it looks like there's no security, there's no cameras?
Richard said the only thing that kept him away from going into a house was a good security. And what is a good security? Just one with a fucking sign out in front of your front. My house.
It's enough
alarmed. Yeah, that's a deterrent. Other than that, nothing. And he just picked houses at random. Other hypes, and they're just looking for easy makes.
If your house looks tough to get into, they probably won't bother you.
Never had it. They drive around. A lot of them drive around during the day just to see what it's like during the daylight, and Then they drive around at night to see what kind of action's inside the house. You know, if they can see inside the house, if they can't. And some, they just, like the lady that was in the documentary, Linda Arthur, she used to work crime like she was a deputy, and she retired as a lieutenant from the department. She lived right across the street from Sophie Dickman, who was one of our rape victims. And her husband got murdered. Linda's husband got murdered June 1st. Sophie Dickman happens on July 7th. So Linda's got some friends staying with her for the time being. And she hears the lady yelling, Mrs. Arthur, because Sophie knew that Linda was a cop. So they come, and she was found with her wrist handcuffed to a four-poster bed. She dragged the bed over the corner. And to get into her house, he went in through the back. You know, he had to jump a fence, go in there, went through a cat door, pulled it out of the slider, pulled it out, and then that's how he slipped on
Fucking
in.
A, man, dude.
So, you know, everything was random, and these guys go, I don't think you're going to find it's logical. You're not gonna, if you put bars on your windows like some people do, you're probably not going to get a burglar inside there, but short of that, you know, and especially if they're going in and if they're loaded at the time, they don't give a shit about anything.
Thanks for that.
And I think,
Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true, right?
Yeah, but alarm signs, and the guy, you know, it's like AT&T.
You know what we're thinking right now.
AT&T Brinks, go steal
I think
one
mine's
someplace.
backwards, so I can see it. What the fuck am I about to see it for?
And president of the company, either AT&T, Brinks, one of those big alarm companies, he was at a function, and he met me, and he says, you know what, I'm going to give you the best alarm I've got. I said, before I go today, he said, remind me. He said, I'm going to give you the best alarm I got. And I'm sitting there thinking, fuck, I'm going to give me a nice electric alarm, put it up in the house. And he gave me, what he gave me?
Sign.
A sign. He says, best alarm you can buy. You don't have to waste your money on everything else.
Because they don't know if you're lying or you do have it.
Exactly.
They're not going to take the chance.
And Richard said,
I wonder what's the percentage of people that, like you, lock yourself in, or like me, that have it but don't lock yourself in. It's on your phone. It's easy to do.
I could do it right now.
You just make sure all your shit's closed up, and you say watching TV, you hear something. I mean, they're gonna take off.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at my house right now.
house, before we had alarm systems and all that, my house was burglarized. And all it did was piss me off. I told the wife, I said, well, next time I'm just going to leave signs up on the walls. Hey, valuables are over here. Don't fuck up the rest of my house. And the only thing they did at that time was they stole, the only thing worth money to me was they took silver dollars that my dad had left me. They took silver dollars and my grandkids, their little banks, you know, I had change in them. That was all.
Do you think that it's somebody in the neighborhood? Because it's not. How could it be random?
Yeah. It was somebody in the neighborhood.
You know what's crazy is you've seen so much. You seem kind of like unaffected by everything, but like a doctor, like you said, your analogy was, right? So I'm just curious, was there ever a time early in your career where things did get to you, where you had anxiety, you woke up in the middle of the night, things were affecting you, or it just never affected you?
Never affected me. I'd been in combat already, you know, before I was in the
no,
Army.
man.
Once you go there, you've seen everything.
So I was just, the only thing I've learned through life from Vietnam, you panic, you die. So if somebody panics, somebody's going to get hurt, seriously hurt or die. So I always remain calm.
Do you ever have that adrenaline, but you're calm at the same time? Or
Yes, I
your
do
heart's
have adrenaline.
beating, but you're aware of everything.
Yeah. And I had something diagnosed early on. They said I had something that's called vasovagal syncope.
Yeah, you get faint, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's caused by
How do you know what that is?
stress.
Because I had it once. I was I got a needle.
You faint?
Well, it never happened to me, and she put this needle in. She couldn't get it in. She kept jamming it in, and it was like swelling and blood. And I don't know what happened, but from my mind, whatever, something happened. I went,
Oh shit! Oh wow!
and it was the scariest thing that
Vasovagal
ever happened to
syncope.
me. I mean, it took a while. I was blind. I felt blind, and then your sight slowly comes back. But they say it's not abnormal. It does happen.
And that's caused by stress, by lack of sleep. And so the hours that we work in murders are tremendous. So, and stress, you know, whether it be stress from work, stress from home, you know, it was knocking my ass out.
You know what I can't understand? When you watch those shows and you see them taking them into the interrogation room and there's that camera up in the corner
yeah.
and you're watching them.
Right.
Why does anybody talk to a cop?
It doesn't work like you get a all that stuff's for TV. That's so people can see. That's really not the way it is. And when you talk to me, when I talk to Richard, I talk to him just like I'm talking to you right now.
But why would anybody even say, I'm going to talk? I want a lawyer.
Because I'm the nicest guy in the world when I want to talk to you. And I'll convince you that I'm a nice guy. And I want what's best for both of us, not just you, not just me.
But also he said that once he got caught, like his whole magnetism left, like his whole
confidence,
bravado. Right? That's just a fucking guy. Yeah. Now he's just a guy. He's out there with fucking terror, and once they get him, like it all kind of went away.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like Weinstein, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Like this guy, and then now he's just an old.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the guy you talk about earlier, the cochino,
Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy. That's what Weinstein reminded me of. Ron Jeremy.
Fucking wow. He really was like a thug to people.
Yeah.
Like he would just be like we flew with him to New York, and he had his wife and his kids up there. And then when we land, he's like, "Hey, will you take a picture with my daughter? She wants your picture. I don't know why she'd want it, but can you take a picture with her?" You're like, "Yeah, but just to be a fucking asshole."
Kind of a dick.
Yeah.
It's funny. I know a story from somebody who worked with him closely, but he was such a dick. He had this meeting, and it was him and his brother, his partner, and the other guy who kind of runs the company. But his brother said something, and he just went over to him and punched him in the face and knocked him out. In the middle of the meeting, just went up to him and just went, "Motherfucker," and punched him in the fucking face and knocked him out. Yeah. And that's a true story.
Fucking crazy, man. That whole business is gone, right? Miramax is fucking dissolved. It's always gone, yeah. I mean, that guy was a fucking predator. And what did he rely on? The fact that nobody would talk.
Mm-hmm. He's untouchable. You want a career?
Money.
Fuck, don't say where. You're done. You're done. Man,
that's
money and power,
it's sick.
brother.
Yeah, it's sick, man.
Yeah,
and by the
that's
way,
why I don't get away with shit. I ain't got no money, I ain't got no power.
But it's amazing. You think you get some success, you have some money finally, you're able to do the things you want to do. Why would you?
Right.
You don't need to.
Where's that fucking darkness come from?
I think he's never happy.
No, he's never happy.
Never happy. That's where it comes from. It comes from childhood.
Yeah.
There's some shit that went down in his childhood, guaranteed.
Right.
It's like something happened.
I think the turd burglar ran into him when he was a kid.
Do you think so? He was sexually abused?
Sodomy.
Turd burglar.
Turd burglar. Jesus. What the hell's going on here?
Turd burglar.
Gil's pulling out turd burglar down there. And that about wraps it up for today.
That's like a punk rock band, the Turd Burglars, I think.
Yeah, that'd be a good name.
Hey, are you left-handed?
I am left-handed.
Yeah.
How'd you know that?
Because you did the guitar, but you did it left-handed. What do you play? Bass? You play guitar?
I play acoustic guitar and some electric.
You guys have a band?
It's called Sunspin. What's funny is I always wanted to sing. I always wanted a band. I always wanted to write music. And I thought, well, I don't sound like Adam Lambert. I shouldn't do this shit. I'm not a great musician. And then I was like, why don't you fucking do it because you love it?
Right.
So I started doing it, and we have our third album's coming out in February.
You know what, man? I was looking at
Sunspin.
Cool. Yeah. What's it called?
The band's called Sunspin. Yeah, it's me and my buddy Rob Danson, and I'm proud of it. It's not like an actor. An actors play and they have CDs and they usually suck. I honestly don't. I really don't think it sucks. I honestly don't think it sucks. I think people will dig it.
And what kind of acoustic guitar do you have? You play electric too, or most acoustic?
Mostly acoustic. What do I have?
You write the music?
Yeah, I write all the lyrics and the songs, and Rob helps me add bridges and things.
But you know what? I was looking at your bio, and you've done a lot of stuff.
A lot of shitty stuff too.
But if you look at the progression, like the shitty stuff led to the better stuff, voiceover stuff, and then led to like Batman. And
Lex Luthor, Smallville, all that stuff. Yeah.
But that stuff is like a stepping stone on the way up, which I think you want. I don't think you want to hit early and then the shitty stuff is after.
Yeah, I didn't have overnight success.
No, you did not.
I was one of those guys that just kind of did this small part in a movie, and then from that I did a little bigger part, and then a smaller part, and then all of a sudden I got
some
TV, and then it just kind of. So I'm proud of my career, but it's crazy because I grew up in Indiana, small town southern Indiana. I never thought I was going to be anything.
Who moved to Indiana because your parents got divorced?
My dad they were still married at the time. They moved from New York to Indiana.
Right.
And it's we were like the only Jews on the block.
But how was that? How did they move from
What was going on in
My
Indiana?
dad got a job transfer to work at Bristol Myers.
Right.
And so we went from like low class to lower middle class to hovering right under. So it just, he worked very hard. And so grew up in Indiana and then went to college in Kentucky and then moved to New York and everything kind of started happening.
But as a kid, was it different if you were Jewish back there? Was it different that?
The only thing I remember is one person threw a quarter down and said "fetch" to my sister once. Hey, Jew, fetch. Ooh. I remember that. The other thing was once.
That's fine. Ooh.
One guy said something about Jewish, some Jew. And by the way, we're not even religious, regardless, but I respect it. Yeah. I respect everybody's religion.
Sure, of course,
and I just go, yeah, he says something about being Jewish or something. I go, I'm a Jew. And the guy goes, fuck off, you're not a Jew. And I go, what are you kidding me? Of course I'm Jewish. He goes, Rosenbaum, you're not fucking Jewish. Look at you. You don't look like a Jew. You're not a Jew.
Rosenbaum.
Exactly. Rosenbaum. And I'm like, I am a Jew.
Yeah.
You don't even look like a Jew. I mean, it was like an argument because he wouldn't believe that there'd be a Jew where we grew up.
Wow.
So, but usually no one really said anything. If they said something, it wasn't like out loud. But I remember.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, thank you. And I remember there was one black guy in our high school out of like 400 people. Just one black guy. And he was one of my best friends.
Yeah.
But I was the most unpopular, shortest kid. Didn't start puberty late. Couldn't get nailed in wood shop kind of guy. I just was like, when am I going to grow? It was just, and suddenly something happened. When I graduated high school, I started to grow, and I thought I was going to end up working at a grocery store my whole life, making $5 an hour. I was like, all right, this is cool. This is what I'll do. I'll make a living somehow. And people always say, like, how'd you do it? I'm like, well, regardless of how good you are or become, it does take a lot of luck.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's a combination of talent, luck. You know how that works.
Yeah, but what led you to? I mean, your mom was a writer.
My mom kind of wrote like in small town papers. Interviewed like baseball players who we always thought she was sleeping with.
Wow.
But you're always like, what's going on? You were in Keith Hernandez's room a little too long.
She was like that.
Yeah, she would interview, but just for a small paper.
Oh,
She would get credentials to go in there. She didn't know what the hell she was talking about, but she was a good writer. And my dad worked his ass off at Bristol Myers, a pharmaceutical company, and it was kind of like we were very dysfunctional. You have a lot of dysfunction.
No, that's all. Yeah.
Is your mother still alive?
Yeah, she is. She, I love my mother, but I also take care of my mother. And, but it's it's not.
Did you play the guitar back then?
No, I didn't start till after college or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you went to college. I think that kept.
I wasn't going to go to college. You know why I went to college? Because this popular kid who lived down the street, Tom Lally, still my best friend today.
Wow.
Known him since he was 12. He lived down the street. He was popular. He hung out with all the popular kids. He played on the football team. I was just nobody. And he used to come up every once in a while and just say, what are you doing, man? And we'd hang out a little bit or shoot baskets. And one day he comes up, it's our senior year, he goes, hey, what are you doing? Are you going to college? And I go, I don't know. He goes, you should room with me. We should go to Western Kentucky. And I go, this popular kid wants me to room with him. I should probably take this opportunity.
Wow, no shit.
And I went to college because it's sad, but I was like, oh my God, and I went to college and he was the guy who was like, dude, he's so funny. Watch his impression of Jim Carrey and Fire Marshal Bill. Watch him do Malkovich. Watch him and people started to gravitate towards me, and I became sort of popular, and I started doing theater, and it gave me confidence. You need someone in your life that helps give you confidence.
I think that's true.
Because I had none, but I also was hiding behind a facade that I always talk about. It was like, because was your father the kind of guy who says, I love you, George?
Well, I didn't know my dad, but my grandfather was not biological, so no.
No. You? What are you laughing at, Gil? What the fuck is this?
What happened?
What's so funny?
No, my dad never did say, I love you.
What the fuck is that?
He's laughing at it.
But what is that? The motherfucker, this is so fucking hard to say.
He never said that. He never said, I'm proud of you. He never said.
That was my dad.
I was just
That was my
stupid.
dad.
You know what I mean?
No, my dad never said I was stupid.
Yeah,
But
me too.
On his deathbed, when he's dying, I had never said I love you, Dad. I made everybody clear the room, and I went up and I grabbed his hand. I said, Dad, I got something to tell you. And he says, what's that, son? I said, Dad, I love you. I want you to know I love you, Dad. And my dad said, me too.
Fuck.
Yeah. But didn't say, I love you. Said,
Even on his deathbed.
even on his deathbed.
You know, yeah.
The
What
next
is-
day,
What the fuck is that?
I had told my
Old
sister,
school.
I wish my dad, I wanted to hear him once say, I love you. You know, just, I know he did, but I just really want to hear it. And she came in about a half hour later. She says, you question your dad, how much he loved you. She says, we were going through the stuff in the closet. And there, in a metal box, was $10,000, all the insurance papers, deed to the house, tax information, money for the $10,000 for my mom just to get, my mom was working, but just right now, just have it available. And he had it all wrapped up in this newspaper. And there was a newspaper, you open it up, and it was an article about me when I was starting an orphanage in Vietnam. And I was asking for help from local. He says, that's how much your dad loved you.
Wow.
And so,
It still affects you.
yeah, it does.
You know what's funny is
Come
you
on,
say
boy.
that. Thanks for sharing that, man. What do you say?
Kiss ass, motherfucker.
That's nice that he like opened up and now he's fucking. Just when you thought you were gonna get him to cry,
Take it away.
and you're fucking get it.
Fucking
You know, I gotta say that my father, wrote me a card recently, and I could tell that he's gotten better over the years. Like he's still, you know, it's just old school, I
Him too.
guess.
Goddamn.
But he sent me a card, and it just said, you know, I just want to say I'm proud of you. Of what
card said it, or
I'm
he
proud
wrote
of the person you've become. That's what he said, except for your farts. That's what he said. I can show you. I'll send you a picture of the card.
Except for your fart.
Yeah, fart.
You know, the director of
Who doesn't fart? You don't fart, Aaron?
But
me all
no, except for your farts, he fucking threw it in there. Did it mean less or more?
It kind of like lessened a little bit. I kept the card.
You know what? He had to put
reaching
something
out.
in there.
Yeah.
But he had
reached
to
out.
take
He
it
reached
away.
out.
He had to put something in there, a little takeaway.
Yeah. And I think he
I'm
loves
proud
it.
of who you've become. Fuck. Except for your farts. Fucking take it.
I can't. I got to put something else in there.
I gotta put something. Fuck, that's not enough.
the director
Oh, man.
that did the
Right?
Netflix.
Yeah.
I think so. I think
The guy
Yeah.
that did the documentary, I called him up about 2 weeks later, and I said, okay, I just want to thank you. It came out far better than I ever anticipated. I didn't want to see any of the rough cuts. I didn't want anything to do with it. You do it. You work your magic. I'm just the talking headpiece. So when it came out, I watched it like everybody else. I said, I want you to know. And he knew about my relationship with my dad. And I said, it made me cry, it made me laugh. I said, and that one part, I said, subliminally, I know you were putting in there, my dad's proud of me. I said, and I know he's proud of me now. And this one, especially this one photo, and he says, well, let me tell you a little secret. He says, while we were doing the rough cuts, while we were doing the editing in here, he said, when we showed that, I stopped it immediately, turned on all the lights, and everybody in the room was crying.
Wow.
He says, that's when I knew this was going to be good.
I think we all have it. We all want to make our fathers proud.
Yeah.
It comes from so many people that it's very common.
But why? But what's the fucking?
Why?
What's the fucking negativity toward your kid wanting to do something? Like if it's some other fucking kid, oh, this fucking kid over here wants to be a fucking race car driver. Fuck him. But when it's your own kid, you can't. I mean, you made it. You made that kid. You can't say like, hey, whatever you do, I'm fucking behind you, man.
Yeah,
You know, I don't think you can do it, but prove me wrong. Fuck it.
I think there's some competitive thing there, especially like, you know, he works really hard. He always worked from 7 to 6 at night. Never missed a day at work. I bust my ass.
That's
I
my
do this.
dad.
And now, you know, I think there's maybe, I don't know, I'm speculating, but like maybe it's like, oh, he's an actor. Well, you know, it's like, and it's like, oh, he's making a lot of money, and maybe there's some competition. Maybe it's old school. Maybe his father, he didn't really have a great relationship with his father. There's a lot of stuff.
You know,
I forgive him. I'm totally cool.
There you
now.
go. So Edward almost told me that Edward almost played baseball like in the 60s. Like, he was really good. But then he was into music. Like he was a good singer. He was a house band at fucking the Whiskey in the 60s. The fucking Doors and everybody.
Wow.
And his dad loved him when he played baseball. And then, you know, around 14, 15, he's like, I don't want to play baseball anymore. I want to do music. I think I was doing it for my dad. And I just like, hey, Dad, I don't want to play baseball anymore. His fucking dad didn't talk to him forever.
Can you believe that?
Forever.
For wanting to go
For him wanting
follow
to
his
fucking
dreams.
And he didn't want to play baseball anymore.
That's fucked.
And when he was dying, he was already a fucking Academy Award nominated fucking actor. And his dad's last words were, "Get a real job." Fucking imagine.
Wow.
That's his fucking last thing he said to him. Get a real job.
See,
I mean,
I didn't have to make my mom proud.
fuck.
I don't know what that is. There's something.
You're taking that with you to your next. That's what you leave behind.
It's so easy to just say, "I'm proud of you. I want you to know I'm incredibly." It's easy to say, "Hey, I love you, man." I know it sounds goofy and like whatever, but it's easy to just tell someone, "Hey, I love you." It's not that hard.
And fucking years go by, you can't get back. You can't get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think they're gonna live forever, and they don't.
You know what's fucked? My friend said this at his wedding. He spoke at his wedding, and it was emotional. And he said something like, "For a long time, I can relate to this. He felt like I know logically, intellectually, that people love me. That some people really love me. I know that, but I don't feel it." Ooh. And it was really it hit me because it was like, I know, like, you know, my friend or my friends, they love me. I know my dad loves me. I know, but it's weird. It's like sometimes you just like, you just don't feel it. You don't understand. And it doesn't make sense. Because again, you know it's logical, but you can't.
But also when you came to this business and you're going out, and then after you're done with your side, you throw it in the back of your car, whatever. There's all kinds of fucking papers back there, and you're driving across town to go audition for this, and you're trying to get something. But then all of a sudden, you can't imagine having that house or having that career. And back there, it just seemed like there was nothing to fucking hang on to.
Nothing.
There's nothing to. Next day, you're like, well, I can go do. There was nothing to fucking hold on, nothing to hold.
It's a miracle. It's a
You're trying to find
it's a
fucking
miracle.
place to park. You're fucking late. You're gonna clock. You gotta be in there. You're running across this fucking paper in your hand. No, you're like fucking no. Then you keep going, and the next day you go, what are you gonna do now? Right, nothing. And you get a call. You go to Santa Monica, and you're out there just trying to get a fucking spark to fucking light for somebody to say, yeah, come back in. You come back in. Maybe you don't get that one, but they remember you. Hey, I remember you guys. Yeah, you read for us over here. Now it's this. It's fucking like that.
It's the odds.
And it's on somebody else, not on us.
Yeah.
It's somebody else that sees you, that remembers you. They go, I like that guy, bring him in. Hey, I think he's right for this. It's not us.
Yeah.
It has to be somebody that you connected with, or they saw something, and they said, bring him in here. I think he's right for this. You come in, you go, hey, you again. Yeah, hey, remember we did that thing, it didn't work out? We're over here.
Yeah.
Fucking everybody's somewhere else.
Yeah. You know what? It's crazy because I think there was a period a time in my life where it feels like there's some people that start to believe in you, and they believe in you more than you believe in you. Like, you don't even have the comments. You're like, you still have that inner child from way back going, I wasn't supposed to do that. I'm an idiot. I don't fucking, how am I even here? I must be, that's why you always hear that, oh, I'm cheating the system. I'm lying. You know, they're going to catch me. They're going to catch on to me. I'm not that good. And they believe in you, and that's this pressure too that you have. Now you have to please them. You have to be great. It's childhood.
It's fucking crazy,
you
man.
up.
It's crazy.
That's what's good about my life.
It's like two childhoods. It's another set of players.
I feel like I'm a kid. I'm enjoying my
Same issue. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what's so good about my life today. Because, see, I never had to go through what you guys did looking for that next job, because that was going to be your career, and you have to work, you have to practice, you have to run around through Santa Monica and do it. I had me a job, steady job. I retired. And then all of a sudden they did this Netflix thing, and I've always been a speaker. I've spoken all over the place. But this Netflix came out, and then all of a sudden the world just lit up, and people are now coming to me. You know, they want me to do production here, they want me to do this, they want me to do it. And if it happens, fine. If it doesn't, it's okay, because I'm still just the guy I was before I started. And
You know yourself.
Yeah,
You know who you are.
The best part of this whole deal, honestly, not because I'm kissing anybody's ass, was meeting George and coming on his podcast. It's fun.
It's fun. It's fun just being here.
And I met a friend. You know, I've got a new friend, and I drink his beer, and it's all good. Yeah.
So I'm half I had COVID the last couple of weeks. So I was half asleep, watching a documentary. Forgot about who it was, and they said
Chris Farley?
no.
Oh.
And they said the guy buys things that he likes. They take the place of people, so he's surrounded by things he likes and not surrounded by people. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
And I have fucking guitars all over my house. I bought fucking 20 guitars since August.
Dude, and you just got to come to my house.
And I mean,
it's like a museum.
fucking, you know what I mean? And
It's a museum.
and I was like, oh shit, I think that's me. I buy
These
the
things are your
that I
friends.
like. They're your friends.
Yeah. I completely understand. If you came to my house, you'd be like, you get it.
Right?
I have these toys. I'm like, I'm a 50-year-old guy. I have like Star Wars stuff and guitars and autographed posters by, what's his name? Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
And like all this. It's just like, it makes me happy.
I think it is. And you know what? It's
Crazy.
Listen, there's a guitar hanging. There's this guitar's hanging on the wall. I lay in bed. I could see him. Nobody's leaving. Nobody's coming and going. Where you going? You coming back? I don't know. They're there.
Yeah.
This is a solitary business, anyways. Got to be by yourself. Mm-hmm. You're not working on any material with somebody in the room. You're gonna be fucking by yourself. What are you doing? Working on this thing I'm doing. Can I help? Of course not. Oh, okay. Well, it's just that. It's that way.
It sucks too because you're probably like me. Is you love being alone, but you hate being alone at the same time.
It's a fucking.
You want someone there, but
It's a crazy like you're 50. My therapist said, because he knew that I had issues, and he's like 40s not so bad, 50s it gets a little bit worse, 60 okay now it's gonna start to dawn on you, 70 forget it, 80 fucking you're the guy with cataracts eating fucking soup at the fucking Norms and the last hey who's here, fucking eyes all white and shit, Mr. fucking Hollywood, you have fucking eggs all over you, you fucking been to Hollywood.
What happened to him?
Yeah, and motherfuckers are like, this motherfucker, but it's like in the
Yeah, motherfucker, it's me.
yeah. What happened to your fucking eye? Oh, this happened when I was 66. I'm fucking 81. What the motherfucker? But
that's amazing.
But when you shaved your head, did you think it would grow back? I mean,
I hope
your
so.
fucking head was shaved to where
Every day.
it was like this.
Oh, every
he
day.
played Lex Luthor in Smallville.
yeah.
His fucking head. Like if you saw an egg and you thought there's hair could grow out, there's no way hair could grow out of that. I mean, right? It was fucking. And you have you had a good head too.
Oh,
like,
thanks. Thanks.
But
Well, I'll tell you
and
what.
you had in production, you had to be like that. I saw you at the Laker game. And, you're like, oh, my man must be sick. No, I thought it was Smallville. Oh, all right. I said, man, brought him to the game. That was last wish.
You know what? My so what happens is, if crew call is at 7, where the whole crew comes on, cast, crew call. By 7:30, they'll start to gather everybody for a blocking. 8, go get makeup. I'm there at 5:30 in the morning or 5 a.m. 2 hours before anybody's even there.
Fucking A, man.
Shaving me, sometimes cutting me, and putting like 3 layers of makeup so you see no hairline.
Right.
And then, so I was caked, kind of caked up at times. And it was like,
It was lighter and smooth. Like,
yeah. Sometimes they got it right. In some episodes, you could look and go, ooh, that don't look that good. But most of the time, they got it right. But it was.
it was all even. You were all one even color.
Yeah. It was. Look, they paid you well. It was. I got a lot of. A lot of people.
A lot of attention. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I just, it was worth it. Now, I still go to conventions, and people still love Smallville.
Right.
It's a new generation, and there's some things in the works. Maybe I'll bring it back. Who knows?
Do you think because James, like he went over from Marvel, he went to DC, right?
Yeah.
Him and Peter Safran. And now they run in DC, right?
Yeah.
And that's a heavy crown.
It
to
is,
fucking wear, man.
and they're doing great, and they knew that they were going to have some. People are on there trolling and saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" And what the Henry Cavill thing. And I think they have a plan, and this is the plan that they.
So Henry Cavill was Superman,
right?
And he said on Instagram, "I'm coming back. I'm going to be Superman." And then the guys took over DC, James Gunn and Peter Safran, and their plans were different, and they made him go and asked him to on social media say, you're not going to be Superman, right?
Is that what happened? I didn't even know that.
And we need you to say it.
Yeah, I think ultimately
Because their plans are different.
Yeah, they just had a different. It's like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we want to do, and we have to stick to it, whether people like it, because we really believe in the end this is good for DC. So that's sort of where they're at. And like all my friends, are like, James is one of your best friends. You introduced him to his wife. You're going to be the new Lex. I'm like, no. That's not how it works. It's like, hey, look, I'd love to be considered. Am I old enough? Am I whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, I think.
But he's pretty good about putting his friends.
Oh, yeah. If they're right for it or if it's what his vision is.
Yeah.
But like, I don't ever go, he better. I'm just like, hey, I hope he considers it.
But he
Because I was one of the best, Gil. I don't know if you've ever.
They say he's one of the best. It's down. But also, was he a comic book nerd? Like you guys were comic book guys?
He was a big comic book nerd.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was I read Fangoria and horror magazines.
I never did read any.
But you almost like for him to be in a position like that, you have to have been reading comic books when you were fucking like you have to have accumulated all these things like Aaron has in his house. You're like, what the fuck is that for? Fucking guy shooting him. That's the fucking Pegasus from the such and such. It is
Cyclops.
And fucking you have all this shit that only you can understand and only you can explain. What the fuck is that? Well, I don't know if you're aware of the Fifth Element. I'm not. Okay, anyways. So you have to, and then you get to a position where it meets the usefulness and the information you have now is going to fucking, look what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy.
He has an encyclopedic knowledge of that stuff like nobody.
He
is one of the smartest guys I've ever met. He's creative. He also has a heart of gold. The guy is just the most giving.
He created a fucking universe, man.
Yeah.
He did. He created a fucking.
He does, and people love working with him. And he tells it how it is, and he opens up about his flaws and things, and he's just he's. Look, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a big success. I mean, look what he did with Marvel, with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Fucking crazy.
And you're right. And then he did the Peacemaker,
right?
Suicide Squad. He brought back that everybody loved, and now he's, so it's like, hey, he's kind of weaving gold here.
Yeah.
Let's see what he does with DC. And it's a lot. It's a lot on his plate. Like I couldn't deal with that.
That's
that kind of pressure.
Crazy, man.
I can barely deal with anything.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, this motherfucker, I
get stressed pretty.
Fucking tons of shit in the air at the same time, and he's like, hey, fucking hairs up, fucking thing, cool, casual.
Still looks like he enjoys his life. He does things. He's like, hey, come up for New Year's. He's just a dude. He's a dude that knows comics and is passionate and loves music. All those movies had great music.
Yep.
That's all
loves
him.
Music, yep.
A big part of that.
And that guy that took over the guy that took over Warner Brothers from Discovery, so the Warner Brothers Discovery, like that dude is like he cut Batgirl. They already spent $60 million on Batgirl.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
He's like, that's off the table. That's not gonna happen. He fucking did that, replaced that, and everybody's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? What the fuck is this guy doing? So I did Blue Beetle, and Blue Beetle's going in August. Like, it survived. And even when we were doing Blue Beetle in Puerto Rico, all the producers came over, and the writer came over, we had a little meeting, he goes, hey, so that, the Warner Brothers Discovery, the new guy's in there now, and he's seen all the work, and his first question was, how far along are they? Because, the motherfucker's like, shut it down. And he's like, how far along are they? And they saw it, because I'll give it a chance. And then you see the other stuff go away. It's still going, right?
Good.
So Blue Beetle, there was nothing about Blue Beetle anywhere. And I say to James on his Instagram, I said, hey, welcome aboard the bug ship, Captain. Because in the movie there's a bug ship and it's got legs like a bug, And he's like, wait till people see how good you are, George. From him, that went viral. That was all over the fucking.
And he means it.
And that was all over the fucking world. That communication on Instagram was fucking went by like it was all over because they're so thirsty for fucking information.
Did you tell him I was your acting coach?
I told him.
That's awesome. Yeah,
but,
he's a great guy. He really is, and he's so vocal on social.
I know.
It's crazy.
He still has time to do that.
He's talking to fans. He's like, no, that's not going to happen. We can't say anything, or we're working on that, or this is why that's not true. He's like,
it's full transparency too, and also it's like you can. nobody would think that he would have time to still pull fans in, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he does that. He's still making them connected to it. Goes, oh, I thought you were into the DC. Nah, not so much anymore. I mean, they went, but that motherfucker, he keeps everybody engaged.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It
Fucking
is
amazing.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. And
What are the comic that fandom it's different than rock fans or different than movie fans.
It's just, I'm telling you, when you're in that sci-fi world or that Marvel, DC, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Fucking beautiful.
And as long as you're, I love my fans. They're so supportive. I have these patrons for my podcast that support the podcasts. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. But we also have a Talkville podcast.
Yeah.
And it's with Tom Welling. And we rewatch episodes that I never even seen. And we talk about them. And we have all these listeners. And we have fun doing it. It's like revisiting. We go to these cons. You can't, if you're not on like a sci-fi show or have some kind of following, like Luke Skywalker or Star Trek or Smallville or Superman, whatever, there's some, but like, it's like there's this built-in audience. So you go to cons every year, have a great weekend, meet fans, make some money. It's a blast.
But also you wouldn't want to go to a con if you didn't have the juice to be on a good level, on a plateau, because they'd be like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? You have to be like on the way up. Like you have to have a show that people want to do instead of just being like, hey, you did a couple of episodes. Like,
believe it or not, sometimes they'll have Star Trek cons. And they'll have people who did one episode, and they'll come and they'll make some money. They'll do people who are a couple episodes in Supernatural. They'll come at like a Supernatural con. I'm going to this. It's called Creation Con on January like 14th and 15th in Vegas, and it's like all the Supernatural guys like Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki and me and Welling are going, and it's like there's a concert at night. It's an event. It's. I'll tell you what, it's fun as hell.
They have those things they have a crime con.
They have a crime con?
Yeah, I did a crime con in Vegas this last year.
They pay you?
Yeah.
That's true. And what did you talk about? Panocha? No.
They called me. I did the crime con a year before in Austin, Texas. It was a last minute add-on. They needed something. They called me up. They said, "Hey, your name's come up. Would you do it?" I said, "Yeah." So I went down to. I said, "What do you want me to talk about?" I said, "You got 45 minutes. Why don't you talk about your career, how you started, how you ended up with the night soccer case, just 45 minutes." I said, all right, that's no problem. So we go to Vegas, and they said, hey, we'd like you to do it again. I said, do what? We'd like you to come back and speak. I said, what do you want me to speak about? He said, well, same thing you talked about last year. And I said, well, wait a minute, he said, well, no. Last year there were 1,500 people in attendance. That was kind of COVID. We've already sold over 5,000
That's
tickets for
awesome.
this. And I said, okay, so that 3,500 people that haven't seen you before says the others will either come or they won't, but hey, we want you back. Would you do it? And I said,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do it. And I said, and you want me to speak about it? He says, same thing you did last year. I said, all right. I hung up. The old lady says, so are you going to go? I said, yeah. And I said, what are you going to talk about? The same thing I did last year. She said, what did you talk about last year? I said, shit, I don't know. I just went up
your
there.
life.
Went up there and talked. The night before I'm doing a thing over here in Vegas, people said, well, so what are you going to talk about? I said, I don't know. Figure it out when I'm up on stage.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. First time ever, I got a standing O. And all
Didn't
my
even think about it.
and my wife, because it's sponsored by A&E, so everything was professionally done, timing done, the clock's right there, and they sent me a copy of it. So I let the wife watch it. I said, this is what I do when I go out there. And when it was done, I said, what'd you think? She says, it was all right, but do you have to make fun of me? Because I talk about my wife in the thing.
Who doesn't?
I said, yes, you got it, dear. Hey, humor gets your point across.
Yeah.
People pay attention when you're making them laugh. So that's what I do. And so they do have a crime con. And there were
great.
over 5,000 people there, and they're not crazies. They're just people in a true crime.
Yeah. You've done a lot of animation. You could easily go.
Oh, yeah, a lot of that.
For animation and stuff, you've done a lot of voices, right?
Right, yeah.
You could go and say, and they'll have a big picture, and they'll say all the characters' pictures on there. George Lopez. And
Yeah,
you go have fun. I always say, try it out, see if you like it. If you've been to one, you haven't been to one.
No. We'll see when the Blue Beetle comes out. Let's see what,
Yeah,
if
that
anything.
could be a good time.
Yeah, that could be a good one.
That's cool.
It's a trip, man, because you start out doing comedy, and then I really can't. I don't know if I can say anything. So, but when you see that actor crash through in the suit, and you're I did a sitcom, and you see the actual suit for the first time, and you're standing next to it, and the guy's inside, and you're like, pretty fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Like the dude's in the suit, and it's not doing anything. It'll light up, and shit'll come out of his back, those prongs, and but he's just standing there. And it's like, are you prepared for what might happen doing this? He's in the mask. Not really, but I could kind of feel it. The whole bug, fucking purple, whatever, blue.
He was really secretive about this shit when he was
I don't think
doing
he could talk about it.
He couldn't talk about it. He couldn't do anything.
Wow.
We had no idea. We were doing Zoom podcasts.
Yeah.
He was over there on the set and never knew anything. I learned more today about the thing that I did.
I love it.
Made. So
I can't wait to see that.
You used to go to Laker games?
I just went to one last week. I went to the Nuggets when they beat them.
How was it?
It was a blast,
But you went when the Kobe era, in the Kobe times. Yeah.
I got to shout out Jeannie Buss, not to name drop. I always have a game where if I name drop,
yeah.
I just just drop something. But it's funny because I met Jeannie at a party so many years ago, like when I first was like new to LA and I just got Smallville. I'm oblivious. I don't know basketball at all. I'd never been to a basketball game. I didn't know anything about it. And this woman and her friend come up to me and they just start talking to me and they're nice as ever. And I'm like, hey, blah, blah. They're like, hey, we watched the show. And I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. And we talked for a while. I just thought she was a fan.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, here's my card. Just call me if you ever want anything or want to go to a Laker game. I go, okay, cool, thanks. And my other friend who's an actor comes over and goes, dude, how do you know Jeannie Buss? And I go, who's Jeannie Buss? He goes, it's Jerry Buss's daughter, dude. I go, who's Jerry Buss? On my mother's life, I did not know. I know hockey. And she goes, because that's Jerry Buss is the owner of the Lakers. And so about a month later, I just emailed her and I said, hey, Jeannie, you said to ask you if I want to go to a Laker game. I'd love to. Got 4 tickets, valet. It was the first time I'd ever been. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then she invited me again. And after the second time, I'm telling you, this was a dream come true.
Didn't you go on Christmas too?
This was 20 years ago. I think so, yeah. But she goes, Michael, I'm not kidding. Whenever you want seats, ever, to any game, you just email me or text me. You have tickets with you and your friends forever. And I was like, it was like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
Wow.
And I don't go a ton, but like I text her, she goes, yep, you're in. I already got you. Here's your tickets are going to be sent later. I mean, she's just so awesome.
Yeah.
And it was just because I was nice and I wasn't, you know what I mean? She goes, you're so nice. She didn't.
Yep.
And then we became friends.
Did you meet the doctor?
Jerry?
Yeah.
A long time ago. Like I would see him in the chairman's. You met him. You hung out with
He
him.
was the fucking best, man.
Yeah. I hear from everybody.
They don't make guys like that anymore. Like, he knows what he likes. There's always
swagger and like
fucking swagger, the fucking hair or the thing, the belt buckle, fucking all young Latinas. Hey, George, come and settle over my friends. Hey, what's going on? Things like, thanks a lot, George. Of course, Doc, anything for you. And they're all the same height. They all look alike. And then my daughter's in there. I go, oh, but this one comes with me. She's in there. You're like, wait a minute, where's my bike? Get over here. But it was like he had a fucking swagger, he had a fucking presence
and he was a great guy. Like I hear my friend Alex worked at a bar years ago, and she said he would always come in and he was an absolute gentleman and always tipped really well and was so friendly and kind. She goes, that's exactly what I remember of him. And she would tell me. And she loved him. So look, people love Jerry Buss.
That's what the crazy thing about. You would see some Lakers outside of the Chairman's Club. Some guys after the game, maybe fucking Harper or like Derek Fisher, those guys in there. Fucking Kobe, never.
Yeah,
never.
I never saw him in there.
Like he came, I don't know, whatever, he left and whatever. He had no part of him was hanging out.
Did you ever get an autographed ball from him?
Oh yeah.
You did, yeah. I did. They gave away these balls. It was like Kobe night in his first year, and everybody got a gift of a Kobe signed autographed basketball. And I took it home thinking, I don't really know a lot about Kobe Bryant. Yeah. He became one of the best players in history.
Yeah.
They still have that ball, yeah.
On Christmas Day, they would give you a voucher for shoes. Everybody courtside would get shoes.
What?
So there's like shits that collect Grinch, those all green ones, and there's one that red, white, and blue. But whatever he wore, everybody got. His Christmas Day shoes, everybody got. And at halftime, you'd go and get them and bring them back to your seat and put them on. I mean,
Do you ever just like every once in a while just kind of step back and go,
it's pretty fucking
the
amazing. Man.
fuck?
Absolutely.
I do that too. I always just go, God, how did this happen? How am I doing this?
Fucking did it.
God
It's fucking nice to meet you.
Gil?
My pleasure. man.
Thanks for coming in.
This has been a real treat.
This
Yeah.
is fun.
Thanks, guy. I really didn't know what to expect, and it was just like three guys
Fuck,
talking.
how do we do it? Yeah, pretty good.
That's all it is.
I forgot I was even being recorded
Yeah.
and shit. I just was like, oh,
It's fun, man.
little guys.
I think I think it's more about like that, like just more of like we all find mutual things to talk about, but like music. He's trying to play the guitarrón.
Yeah. I'm taking lessons now. And it was a bucket list thing. I
The guitarón is like the mariachi.
the big bass for the mariachi.
Yeah.
You pluck two at a time. So I always wanted to do that. So now I'm taking lessons. I mean, I just want to learn how to play it. I want to
For yourself.
for myself
It's a passion.
and then see if GOA contacts me. GOA, of course, I know you not on the big list, but George told me Gordos of America. That's what GOA stands for.
Yeah, you might get your oversized belt as membership president. But also
I'll get my star on the walk in the alley someplace.
I should put some in the fucking alley back there. But you played what, the sax?
I played sax.
Yeah. So he played in the band. He played the sax.
That's great.
So did you you didn't pick up the guitar as a kid? You picked it up later?
You know what's funny is my friend was taking a lesson, and he'd come home, and he's like, almost heaven, West Virginia. And I go, oh,
Bob Denver.
here, give me that. And he goes, oh, and I'd take his guitar, and I'd flip it over, because I play upside down and backwards.
Oh, yeah.
That's just how I learned. Like, he goes, dude, what do? You can't learn like you're upside down. I go, I know, but just show me that chord, the G, show me the C, and then it became G sharp, and then D, and all that. And I learned upside down. So whenever I'm playing with like a professional, they're like, whoa. It's like a rare thing. I just flipped over a regular guitar and learned how to play that way. I think I'm.
But wait a minute, you get the high E is up there.
The high E is at the top.
Whoa.
That's just how I learned. I don't know why. I was stupid. I should have
Whoa,
learned.
what the fuck is, wow.
Yeah.
I've never, you seen that?
No, it's super rare though. I know it is.
It gives.
He plays it upside down.
Yeah. It gives you more of a bass sound too, instead of that tinny sound, because you're playing down on it.
Fucking hey, man. Like Hendrix played a guitar upside down, but strung for him
Right.
with the low E on top and the high E in the bottom. His is the fucking thing's upside down.
Yeah. It's crazy. My guitar.
There can't be anybody that's ever done that. Like I've never heard of.
I think there was some, wasn't there? There's a few,
Wow,
but not
wow.
many. Maybe not many.
There was a golfer that chipped fucking like this, and he made one and won the tournament because that's how he learned.
Oh, my
that
God.
Fucking everybody's trying to do it. Shit's all fucking going sideways. Like he had his hands backwards and chipped, and you're like, oh, look at that. Fucking went in and he won. Like he won, chipped it in to win, and everybody's trying to do it. It's like you can't do it.
I remember I was a guest on some like New York station for some press or something, and in the there's this guy.
You'd almost want to see that. If I was like somebody bring a guitar over here, and I'd almost want to see it.
I mean, I'm not a great guitarist, but I can
No,
play.
but
I'm
I
not like none of that. You could probably do all that shit, right? But so I was in the waiting room, and there's a guy, and I didn't really look at him. There's a woman in the room. This black guy was over here. I'm over here, and I look up. Coming up next, Richie Havens, and I go,
Look at Richie Havens.
oh my God, that's Richie Havens.
Play at Woodstock,
And-
open Woodstock.
Open Woodstock. Freedom!
Yep.
Yeah. And I went up to him and I go, man. And he had his guitar with him. And I go, and he was just showing me some chords because I was just learning them.
Fuck, man, that's-
and his hands were so big, he used his thumb. He was always in the studio, he used his
Fucking
thumb
thumb
over
over
chords.
it, yeah.
And it was just like, it was legendary, man. Richie Havens just sitting there
That's
teaching
crazy.
me
That's
guitar.
crazy shit, man.
That's awesome. Richie Havens, man.
That's-
What was that other Peace Train? No,
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
I think he
Cat
sang
Stevens?
Peace Train. No, Cat Stevens sang Peace Train.
I saw Cat Stevens when he came. He performed at Microsoft, and he hadn't performed in a long time. It was great.
Oh, I saw him too somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I loved Cat Stevens.
He did
Ooh, baby, baby,
Wild
it's a
World.
wild world.
Oh, yeah.
and then he would sing another sad, but he's Muslim, so he would take all the stuff out that was like anti, I'm trying to get a date. No, you know, took that out.
Yeah.
He was like, oh man, come on,
dude.
religion.
I always see those. I always go to those concerts. Like
I love that
Kenny
shit.
Loggins is playing, or Michael McDonald, or at the Canyon Club. You ever go to the Canyon
Yeah.
Club? And there's like, it's just a bunch of old folks.
Is that in Beverly Hills?
No, it's in Agora Hills.
Agora, there's one in like Santa Clarita. There's
Yeah, but you go there and like the Little River band's playing.
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Poco or 10cc. I love
like that shit. Yeah,
I love it.
I went and saw, you know, Ted. I know Ted Nugent. Like I go see Ted Nugent. Take all the dudes I went to high school with, and we go see him. And he's like, "Here's one for you, Lopez." Play Stranglehold. He's got the fucking thing, you know. Or we saw, who did we go see over there? We saw him, but really anybody.
Yeah, they play. It's cheap tickets. You should go there.
It's really fun.
I
man.
love
It's
going
fun.
there because it's like people don't even bother you. It's just like a bunch of 50 to
Yeah.
80-year-olds drinking and
And they got fucking good bands, the Babies and shit. All the fucking great.
Rick Springfield,
Right.
Air Supply. I love that shit.
I saw fucking Air Supply at the amphitheater. This girl made me take her, and I'm like, "This is some bullshit." At the end, I was fucking jumping up and down, fucking pumping. The air.
they have some jams.
They're fucking milking the air. Like, fucking look at myself.
What's your favorite Air Supply song?
Oh man.
No more out of love.
Yeah, I'm all out of love. Yeah, fuck yeah, man.
That was a
I'm
good
so
one.
lost without you.
They had some great. Even the nights are
No better as I found you. Yeah, fucking good shit. You know who there used to be in the Valley? They had the country club in the Valley in Reseda, and I saw Jose Feliciano. I saw a tribute to the Doors where the guy looked like fucking Jim Morrison.
I've seen that one.
Woo!
I went to be like,
It fucking looked like Jim Morrison.
That's Jim Morrison. I think it was the age he would be at the time.
Fucking, oh my
the
God.
leather pants. I mean, he sounded like him. He was mysterious.
He had
oh
a
my
leather
God.
pants with the belt.
Yeah.
And he had this open shirt with the beads and his fucking hair, and he leaned down. His fucking eyes were red as fuck. I'm like, I think that's him.
Yeah, I did too.
Fucking eyes were fucking real. Like, this dude is high as a motherfucker. His eyes were all red. I saw Jim Carroll there. Fucking Jim Carroll.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Jim Carroll, man. This guy, fucking, what was he like? What kind of music would you say? Like, it's not punk, right?
What was Jim Carroll?
Jim Carroll. My friend Ernie got me into Jim Carroll. He had some fucking wild ass
Oh, you know who we
songs,
saw
man.
there? What's his name? Billy Ocean.
Oh,
Wow.
He was phenomenal. And this was only like 4 or 5 years ago. Everybody was like, all right, Rosenbaum, I'll go with you. I got
Fucking
like
Billy
20
Ocean.
people. And I'm same
He
thing.
had fucking hits.
Dude, you know his hits? Get out of my room.
Into my car.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he sings, Suddenly. Wait, how that Suddenly song goes? He sang, Wanna be your lover.
Yeah. What's the other one?
Caribbean Queen.
That was sharing the same dream.
We can do a cover show right here.
You like no more love on the run.
No more love on
That
the
shit's
run.
fucking. I love that shit,
He
man.
was great. If he ever comes in town, you got to see Billy Ocean, man. He had
And they're
some
all
songs.
out there.
There'll be sad songs to
Yeah.
make you cry. Love songs
A, man.
always do.
Shit.
Aaron didn't know any of this shit.
All right, man. Thank you, brother.
Dude.
That was fucking awesome.
rock, man.
That was fucking awesome.
That
man.
was so much
Thank
fun.
you. It was fun.
Thanks.
Before you leave, I gotta get Rosie. I gotta get you doing Rodney to George's Rodney.
You do a Rodney, that's right.
No, I don't. But you do impressions
Oh,
of him.
on the spot. Hey, I tell you what. I say my wife told me to take out the trash. I said, you cooked it, you take it out. No respect.
That shit was awesome. Huh? I'll tell you, my wife, huh?
That was good.
She likes to talk during sex. That's how she coming from a motel.
I tell you, my wife's cooking so bad, the flies chipped in to fix the screen door. Hey, all right.
I'll tell you, my wife, she's a bad cook. At home, we pray before we eat.
I tell you, I went into the, what is it? I went into the what the fuck did he go to? He says, I went to the doctor. He said, oh, the dentist. I said, my teeth are yellow. He said, get a brown tie. No respect.
Fucking amazing, man. He was fucking awesome.
I loved Rodney.
Did you ever meet him?
Never.
Oh, man, he was the fucking.
You met him? Of course you met him. Was he always like that too?
Yeah.
Hey, George, good to see you. Hey, let's go pat her on the nose, will you? Hey, nice tie. All right.
They were backstage, Vinny, Favorito, these guys, and they were at Bally's, and he'd go, and they were talking, and everybody's laughing. He goes, then all of a sudden, it just got quiet. And Rodney's like, what's going on? Huh? Who wants a blowjob? Who wants a blowjob? He gets on the phone, all right, we're back here at Bally's. All right, 4 guys. Huh? We all want to get blown. He fucking hangs up, hey, we're all getting blown. They fucking called up just because it lulled in the conversation. Like, what are we doing?
I love when he says, he has one, he goes, yeah, my wife and I decided to smoke only after sex. She's up to 3 packs a day. I haven't smoked in 10 years. No respect.
Fucking amazing, man. Fucking amazing.
I was a nerd. I used to sit in my room just listening.
He's a Johnny Carson with those fucking see-through socks, like those old pin socks.
Yes.
The black knot. You can see his leg through the socks.
Oh, yeah.
He was fucking
classic.
amazing.
Father issues, daddy issues.
Him?
Major. I read his book. Yeah. He just wanted to get his father's approval his whole life.
There was a picture of Bally's and he's in a robe. He's always in a fucking robe. And the guy goes, look at his hand. And he had the joint cupped back like this. He goes, look at his hand. He's holding a fucking joint in his hand. He's always smoking weed. Hey, Rodney, take a picture. Yeah, all right, come on. He just puts it behind him. Fucking puts it behind him. He's always
You can get away
smoking
with
weed.
anything back then, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say
That's what he would do. He'd get away from anything.
Hold on, hang on real quick. Because there's, if you go to this thing, you can go to Rodney Dangerfield quotes. Have you ever read those?
Oh.
They're fucking top 25 quotes, right? When I was a kid, my parents moved a lot, but I always found them. I asked my wife on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate me as a lover? She said, you know I'm no good at fractions. He goes, this is my favorite. I told my psychiatrist everyone hates me. He said I was being ridiculous. Everyone hasn't met me yet. Right? They're just genius.
You know, I was at Bally's and I went down there before the show, but I think he had like a private in a hall. And the guy goes, hey, Rodney's up there. Go, let's go see him. So we open the side door, and we go in there, and he is just like fucking throwing, hey, boom, boom, boom. Fucking crowd's fucking crazy. And when you don't think it could get any crazier, he goes, the story of my life. No, I mean, and it fucking
Just
blew
kept
the
elevating.
whoop off that fucking thing, man. I've never seen anybody
Kill it like that.
do it like that. Laugh, 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 laugh. People holding it, laugh, laugh. Where can it go from here? That's the story of my life. No, and fucking unbelievable.
I heard Howie Mandel was like people were like that with him.
I think
Is
so
that
in the
true?
beginning, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, dude, I love it. I love that you
Awesome, man.
love
Fuck
Rodney.
yeah, I love that shit, man.
This is good.
This was a blast.